hello. Welcome, noble ones. Hello, hello. Hey, Andrew A, post him a whiskey. A live Metatron, wow. Enjoy your whiskey, mate. Make sure you don't drive. Greetings from Bristol, hey Sentina01. Appreciate that, Dojo, no problem. And I'll see you for next stream. Hello, Honest Kylo. Hey, Legato on Twitch. Hello, A2 Tartarugo from Brazil. Hey, Baron, good to have you here. Everything is fine, thank you. How about you? I'm managing to stick to a schedule. 5 p.m. CST for streams. Let's go. How about that? It's good that I can at least manage to do something, since, you know, I couldn't manage to learn any language but English. Unfortunately, I'm a monolingual Anglophone, and that's the only language I speak. So, you know, at least the streams could be a success in my life. How about that? Hey, Aberdeen, David, Aberdeen, Scotland. Hello there. I called you Aberdeen. Oh, that's funny. It's good to have you here, guys. Good to have you here. It says stream not available, says Mac. Anyone else having that problem? Hey, Abe, good to see you here. Everything is fine on my end. Says, yeah, everything is fine. You're a uniglot, Autumn. Sounds good. The gorilla says, is that a Red Bull you're drinking? Careful, it gives you wings. I already have wings. I'm an angel, so... And I've got 72, so with this one, 74. Let's go. If you know, you know. Looks good on Twitch side, Purple. Good to know, good to know. Man, after this stream, I mean, maybe even at the end of the stream, I might be playing a little bit, but for now, we're just gonna read stuff. I heard about stuff about the Scythians, stuff about gladiators finding archaeological stuff. We're gonna check all of that. Hey, Caveat, Metatron Expo. Absolutely. Thank you for supporting the stream, mate. Hey, you know, when they expose me, they expose me. What can I say? I tried to pretend, but unfortunately... They figured it out. The detective skills were incredible. Yeah, good to have you here, Gilberto. I'm glad you're not late. I'm late, but I'm always late. So, like, I know that I just said I have a schedule. It's going to be a 5 p.m., guys, Monday to Friday. In fact, it's going to be Monday to Thursday for regular streams. And then on Friday, I have... streams for members, so members get a full stream dedicated to them every week, and then but yeah, that's the but here I am at 5:20 because I'm Italian. What did you expect? Southern Italian, in fact. I'm relaxed. I'm not like freaking Germans. It's 5:01, or the English are like that as well. It's 5:01 and 15 seconds. Yeah, not my way of life, but I mean, if I can be here at 5, I will. Otherwise, if it's 5:15, you know, it's an Italian 5. What can I say? Well, it's not because it's Central Standard Time. But anyways, you know what I mean. Captain, thank you for supporting the stream. Just needs shades and you look like little... Man, I've got my shades downstairs. I've got a pair of nice aviator. Just got them. Chrome. They're pretty nice, actually. Got them the other day. Thank you, Steve. Steve-O, Devil. Hail, Metatron. Hail to you. Thank you for supporting the stream, brother. Here we are. I haven't really looked into that side of the drama baron, so I don't have a take. Ettore, thank you for becoming a member. Just so you know, every live stream, the last 30 minutes are going to be members only. Meaning that everyone can stay, but I'm going to switch the chat to members in case you didn't get the chance to, you know, maybe you wanted to talk about something, but there is a lot of messages. Well, the last 30 minutes are always going to be with members. And then, as I say, since you just became a member of the channel, every Friday at 5, it's a date, mate. We're here. We're here. Lorraine says, I love all of your content. Thank you so much, Lorraine. I really appreciate that. Lorraine, I don't know. Hey, St. Nicholas. Blackout in Southern Europe. I heard about that, David. We spoke about it during yesterday's stream. It seems like Portugal, Spain have been affected by this massive blackout. Hey, Denka. From Istanbul. Is that how you pronounce it? Istanbul? In Turkey. Very cool. I'm glad that so Purple on Twitch says, hey, the stream starting on more laid back time works better. Sometimes I get caught on calls at work. No problem. No problem. I mean, I will still do the occasional Twitch stream at night when I play just to play games because I kind of enjoy that. When it's like late here, I just put a game and live stream. But yeah, the most important streams are going to be 5 p.m. CST. Howdy, Ryan. Good to have you here from Vermont. That's cool. And David L. Martin from Jamaica. Wow. I can already imagine your accent if you have a Jamaican accent. I like the Jamaican accent. Monolith asks me, what are your opinions? You do like Diablo 2? Yes, I do. But what are your opinions on Diablo 1? Man, Diablo 1 is when I started with Diablo. I bought it for PlayStation. I know that it was available for PC as well. I don't know if actually which one came out first. You might tell me that. But I played it on PS1 and I thought it was great because you could plug in a second controller and play with your friends. And it was great. Diablo 1 was fantastic. When is the next painting figurine stream? Oh man, it'd be nice to do that, wouldn't it? I don't have that many unpainted ones, I'll be honest with you. The majority of my miniatures are painted, but maybe I could buy some new ones. I see. Denka, thank you for that. What's the best video game I've ever played, asks Ruroni. Ooh, that's so difficult because it depends on your mood, doesn't it? If I'm on a retro mood, I like playing Centurion Defender of Rome. I like playing King's Bounty. Like, those are the games that I always go back to. A little Outrun as well. I'll be honest, I like it. Put on the music and just relax driving. It's a good game. For more modern games, I think Mirror's Edge. The first Mirror's Edge is a game I love to bits. Of course, Daggerfall, Oblivion, I love all of those. It's too difficult to pick one. I can't. Sometimes, like, in the mood for some fighting, that I'll put on a Street Fighter. It really depends. Hey, George. Daoud, good to have you here. What's up? Not much. Usual stuff. And welcome, MH Cafe. Thank you for becoming a member. Really appreciate it. Thank you for the membership. I say play Heroes of Might and Magic 3 and 4. Oh, yeah, exactly. Heroes 3 is like phenomenal game. I'm making a documentary on my gaming channel, by the way. If you're into Heroes of Might and Magic, I've recently made a documentary on Luigi, specifically like Super Mario's brother. Made a little documentary on him. And I'm planning on creating a documentary on Link from Zelda and one on Heroes of Might and Magic. Mostly focused on 3, but I will speak about all Heroes of Might and Magic. I've already got the thumbnail for it, by the way, because I work in reverse, I guess. Great Pontarches, thank you for the support. You ever played the janky junk that is Two Worlds? Oh gosh, I played it a little bit, but I never owned it. I think someone like lent me a bunch of games and I put that one on, played it a little bit. What was it, 360? PlayStation 3? Do I still practice Kendo? No, Robert. I practiced Kendo when I was in Japan for about 3 years and then I stopped. When I went back to Italy and then moved to the US, I never really went back to it. Man, I think my Kendo gear is still in Japan. I left it at the house of this person I knew. I don't even know why. Maybe they didn't let me ship it. I don't remember what happened with it. Adam asks, are Mario and Luigi Italian or Japanese? They're Italian-American. I mean, the Japanese invented them, but they're supposed to be like Italian-Americans. Although, technically, if you really Google it, because I did look into it, they were born in another world. Like, they weren't born on planet Earth. But yeah, they're Italian Americans. They work as plumbers, I think in New York, to be honest. So yeah. I never played Sid Meier's Pirates, One Rusty Donut. I actually own it. I have it in my Steam collection. I don't even know why. Maybe someone gifted it to me. I never really played it though. I do love Civilization. Since the first one, I still have the first one as a collectible for Amiga 500 boxed. I might show you during the stream today. I'll show you some of the stuff. We're gonna have a good stream. I'm gonna take you back. But I still have that one. I played all the Civilization games from 1 to 7. Age of Empire is another one, David, you're right. Ooh, Perfect Dark, Detailer, you know? I have Perfect Dark. That was a fantastic game for 360. Kind of a spiritual successor to GoldenEye from the N64, in a way. What a game. Yeah, I don't know, what is it? What is Kahoo? What's this thing about 100 men versus one gorilla topic? Like, what is it? I've seen it on Twitter, but I kind of didn't understand it. What are people saying? Hey Daniel, good to have you here. Ciao, love to see the Zelda video. Love The Legend of Zelda. Me too. And I'm making this mini documentary dedicated to Link. It's gonna be funny. It's gonna be good. I just work on it on the off time, you know, because it's my gaming channel is just a little passion project. I don't really do it for money. I do it for fun. So I can't really justify too many hours into the production. But hey, I still do it. Do you know Lindy Beige personally, asks Time of Bloom? Not directly, but we spoke a lot on Messenger, so we did speak. Sometimes we exchanged opinions and ideas when he came. We even role-played D&D together once. I mean, it wasn't exactly D&D, but role-playing games. But still online. But it's not like we hang out or anything. Good time zone, everyone. Hey, Caladrus. Votshal says, so what's planned for the stream today? Was Perfect Dark that had he kill a stun gun? Oh no, the Perfect Dark was the one with the girl with red hair. But I don't remember much of it. I finished it back in the day. Anyways, I've got a few news articles to check out to see if it's nonsense. And see what people are talking about. One is about Roman archaeology, and one is about ancient Scythians. I'm gonna have a look at a few things, and then we'll pick it up from there. We'll see what happens. We'll see where the stream takes us today. Isaiah O'Connor, hi from Norway. Hello, hello to you. Perfect. That was N64. Ooh, you're right. Did I say 360? Man, I'm a Muppet today. Of course it was N64. I even have a physical copy, by the way. Of course, I have it in there. You're right. It was N64. Hey, Evil. Good to have you here. Reporting in. Reporting in. That makes it sound like Command and Conquer. Yeah, I think Lindy would be really fun to hang out with. I agree, Cedric. Yeah, I heard of that game, Barzo. I don't know if it's exactly my type of game, to be honest, though, the medieval one. I mean, I love the Middle Ages, it just depends on the type. Yeah, Manu says, I bought Oblivion for PS3 like 2 weeks before they put out the remaster on Game Pass. I feel silly. Oh, well, I mean, I don't know what I have. I have Oblivion and Skyrim for every system. Literally, I have like 7 copies of Skyrim alone. So, like, I mean, I did buy it for everything. I have it for Switch. I have them for. I don't know what it is. It's like Todd Howard is a wizard. So it's like it's a given to have multiple copies of the same thing when it comes to Bethesda. So I wouldn't worry about it if I were you. I don't even know why I'm wearing this. I don't need it right now. We'll wear it when we need it. We'll wear the headphones when we need them. Daniel asks, what's the next game you excited to come out? Oh, next game? I don't know, because maybe this Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era, but I don't know if it's going to be good. I wish they sent me like a copy for evaluation, even if I have to pay for it. Like I would pay. It's not like I want special treatment. Oh, I'm such a big shot. No, no, no. I feel like I've seen YouTubers receive copies, and I'm like, can I have one as well so I can play it? I don't know how to contact them though. I just want to play it. I just want to try it. I'll have to see if there is a way, like an email. I think I tried at one point to send them an email, but maybe I sent it to the wrong place. No idea. Hey, William, thank you for supporting the stream. I appreciate that. Sombra, have you played Legacy of Kain? Ooh, have I played Legacy of Kain, my friend? Absolutely. Absolutely, what a game. It was like the first game, I think, that I remember that allowed you to play as the bad guy. Because now it's kind of a given. If you play any RPG, you could play however you want. So even like Oblivion, Morrow, in all those games, you could play as the evil guy. But back in the day, I think that was like, what for me was the first one was like, oh, I'm a vampire. I can be a bad guy. So, because that was kind of cool. What a game. Thank you, Baron, for supporting the stream. Just in case you did not see, they are making a season 2 of Shogun with an original story based 10 years later. I'll definitely watch it. I'll try and make a reaction, well, not a reaction, but a like a commentary video on a historical evaluation of the first episode and see how it goes. Because with the previous one, as you know, I did 2 episodes, but they took so much time to produce. The first one went really well, but the second one flopped completely. YouTube just was like, no, not gonna let you do it. And so I had to stop, unfortunately, because it was too much time, too many resources, plus the editing and all of that. So I hope I'll try. I'll do the first one, see how it goes, and we'll take it from there. What's my favorite color, says Anton. Blue. Specifically, what is it called? Electric. Electric blue. Let me see if I can show you. I'm going to show you. Seems like some people are getting a bit too many ads, maybe. I'll see if I can reduce them on my end. I kind of left it the way it was, but if it's a little annoying, I'll try to reduce them. If there is something I can do. It's not always up to me. Like, I can give them an idea, but then the system chooses. I think it depends on whether, if you haven't had it, imagine if you come from another video and you already got an ad and then you start watching this, your next ad will be delayed. So I don't have control over that. But so if it just happened that you didn't get a few ads for a while and then you started watching and you got an ad, that's why. But on my end, I can try and reduce it a little bit. Blue cannot be seen by the by the Greek eye, says Anthony. Exactly. Let me see if I can show you electric blue. Yeah, a bit like this one, I think. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, is this electric? Yeah, that's electric blue. That's my favorite color. Electric blue. Ooh, I'm gone. I'm gone. I don't exist. I don't. Oh, here we go. I'm back. So yeah. This kind of blue is my favorite, like this one here. Very bright, gorgeous. Not these. This is too light. Here they call it electric blue. This is not electric blue. It's a lie. But like something like this. There we go. Yeah, 0000FF. That's me. It's my favorite color. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Like my Scutum, kinda. Francisco. Yeah, my scutum is a little bit on the darker side, I think, but sort of. Indigo is very nice, yeah. But man, exactly, Jennifer, am I right? I mean, electric blue is gorgeous. It's gorgeous. What a color. Grace asks, tips for visiting Sicily or Pompeii? Tips. It would be good to go with a local, to be honest. That's really the best thing if you have any contacts. If you don't, then I mean, Pompeii, it's easy to visit. It's the easiest one. You just go there, and they sometimes offer tour guides. I would take it. When it comes to Sicily, I would go to definitely Palermo, Agrigento. Although Agrigento is not easy to reach, but don't try to drive it to Agrigento. But you can go to Palermo, you can drive to Messina and Catania. Definitely go to Siracusa. Man, there is so much to see. But if you have someone that can take you around, that would be perfect. Hey, Jonathan Smith, thank you so much for supporting the stream. Thank you for your generosity. I used to talk to Messianic rabbi. He expressed me that most of the New Testament was written in Aramaic and was translated to Greek. I disagree. First, so the Bible is a second translation of most of the books. Any evidence of that? Yeah, I mean, we know they spoke Aramaic for sure. The Paul 100% knew Greek as well, and but we know that they were written in Greek. That was the language that they used to write it. So I don't think that they wrote it. They might have spoken in Aramaic, but I don't think they wrote it in Aramaic. I think they wrote it directly. I don't think there is any evidence that the Gospels are not a direct writing, as far as I know. But then again, it's not like I'm a Bible scholar. I'm interested in the Bible very much. Read it, the whole thing. But yeah, it's one of those things. Thank you, Doist for the support. Hey, yo, is there a Metatron Rome Total War playthrough on the gaming channel with pedantic commentary? Because I need it. Man, I have to do it. It's planned. I still haven't had time to do it, but I will. I'll play it. Maybe soon. Absolutely. And if you want to catch it live stream, apart from the fact that I could play a little bit during these live streams, but I might be playing it on the late ones, the ones that I play at night. Usually those happen around 11 or 11:30 CST. Similar color to my car, but it sounds good, Kevin L. You like navy blue sledge. Navy's good. To me, it's a little too dark, but it's still a good color, for sure. Just blue is such a gorgeous color. That's why the light in the back today is a nice bright blue. So that it gets everything blue. Although I'll tell you, this setup looks much better at night. That's why lately I've been trying to film at night a little bit, because everything is dark, and so all the neon lights are like this. And I've seen people in the comments saying, I don't like your neons, and I'm like, all right, I still love them. I don't know what to tell you. Chivalry 2, I played it a bit, Rocky. I usually play it as a crossbow guy. Usually a crossbow guy. Turquoise is a beautiful color, yes. Teal, I like teal a lot, depending on what it is. I even have, talking about blue, I even have this right here. I just don't have it in like a little homage for when I play Sega games, then I show it. I got this here anyway. It projects a little bit of blue. Thank you, Constella, for the support. Any more news on your Noah's Flood video? It's being made, but it's going to take a while. I'm trying to work on it as fast as possible, but all my Bible videos take forever because I make them myself. I don't have anyone on the team that can help me with those. Sega, yeah, Sega's good. Well, let's have a little Sega during this stream. Let's go. Let's have a little bit of Sega. A little bit of Sega. Just upset those that don't like the oh, that's funny. Thank you, Rafael, for the support. Appreciate, guys. You've been very generous. In the spirit of recent discussions, one could wonder, do we know if the Romans ever brought a gorilla to a Colosseum? A gorilla? Yes, actually. I know they did have cynocephalus monkeys. They're mentioned by Marshall. And one more writer, but I don't remember if it was Pliny. So don't quote me on that. But Marshall, yes. They talk about these cynocephalus monkeys, and they said that they were, cynocephalus means dog-headed, by the way. And they said that they were crazy, probably with, what do you call it, when they have like, when animals are very aggressive because they have that, in Italian it's rabbia, I don't know how you say it in English, but I think you know what I'm talking about. And so I think gorilla is very possible, and rabies, thank you, yeah. Baboons, very probable, yeah. Thank you, guys. Everyone is writing rabies, rabies. Imagine if someone joins the stream now. Rabies everywhere. It's like, why are they telling him that? Metatron out of context. So anyways, they had sharks. We know they did. They didn't put them in the Colosseum as far as we know, but they did have sharks, so it's not impossible. I doubt it, because it would be very difficult to transport the sharks, unless it's one of those species they use buccal pumping rather than breathing as they move. Depends on the species. I actually looked into this, but the Romans did farm sharks on the coastline of Lazio, so they did do that, but we don't know if they use them. We do know they use crocodiles. When they flooded the arena, they put crocodiles in it. That we know. In fact, if I was gonna organize Gladiator 2, I would have told them ditch the sharks, put the crocodiles, personally, but that's just me. Good question, good question. 100 men would body a gorilla, says Golds. If they have weapons, yes. Without weapons, man, maybe, but then again, I mean, the amount of injuries and death, particularly when you have like a cornered animal that is that strong and is cornered, he's gonna break skulls. He's gonna break skulls. Like, gorillas are very strong. Unarmed, I don't see how. Yeah, honestly, I don't see how. If you have weapons, sure. But it's like, how are you gonna do it? How are you gonna hurt it? You need to grab a stone. Like, we still need weapons, because our natural weapons are useless against animals. If you think about it, like, are you gonna punch a lion? Are you gonna do a taekwondo kick against a tiger, a saber-tooth tiger? Like, how are you gonna do it? We need weapons to do that. If you have weapons, you have spears, yeah, sure. You don't even need GUNs. With spears, you can take them down. But without anything, how are you gonna do it? I don't think you're going to break the skull in any way, and he's going to bite your hands off. No, I don't know, man. I think I'm on the side of the gorilla here. I'm going to bet on the gorilla, guys. I'm going to bet on the gorilla. Yeah, you do have superior intellect, Nicholas, but the superior, the expression of superior intellect is tactics and weapons. But if you remove the weapons out of the equation, it's not like you can, use math to math him to death. So poke his eyes. Yeah, good luck with that. I don't know, 100 men, like, you would have to body it and hope that he doesn't have enough strength to push you, which he might. I mean, we would need to get scientific about this and actually measure it. But I don't know, man. I think my money. If weapons are not allowed, my money's on the gorilla. The moment, split second, weapons are into the equation, then my money's on humans. Riding on rhinos. Yeah, I know where that's coming from, Anthony. Rhinos are actually mentioned in the sources when it comes to gladiatorial combat, but not riding them. But yes, rhinos are mentioned. The Romans did put rhinos in the arena. We know they did that. But then, of course, Gladiator 2 had to transform it into a skull crusher of corn from Warhammer and put the gladiator on top of the rhino. That was nonsense, but the rhino is not nonsense. It's mentioned in the sources. Patrick Banks, thank you for the support. Keep in mind, humans are endurance hunters. That's a huge advantage. Yeah, also the platform is important. If it's a enclosed arena, I don't know. My money's still on the guy. If they are like maybe... Any way I think of this, though, let's say it's a bit like Hunger Games, but smaller. So they are like in this jungle, but it's contained, but they have space to operate and move, but they're still going to use any way I think of like how they could win. It always involves some kind of weapon. So if there is no weapon, I just don't know. I don't know how you're going to hurt it. You're going to punch it? Hey, you're unarmed. 40 dead gorillas, 40 dead guys, 1 dead gorilla. How is he gonna die though? Doi, that's the thing. Jonathan Smith. Like, unless what you could do if you, but then again, you need the ingredients. You can make poison and then trick it into eating it. Like, that's how we could defeat, I guess. Because if you're gonna punch it, yeah, good luck. Jonathan Smith, thank you for the support. I believe vampirism and werewolf myths are rabbinic explanations. Fear of water, biting spreads it. Extreme harm needed. Dislike of light fits rabies. I've heard people try to, yeah, justify medically what vampirism could be, how it evolved because it is very common in a lot of cultures, and it's very likely that, and I mean, even in the earliest, I think, myths, and depending where you look at it, it is looked like even in the Elder Scrolls is considered a an illness. So I think, not all vampire, like in D&D, I think it's more like a black magic thing. It's a magical thing to become a vampire. You're undead, but because of necromancy. But in a lot of other settings, a vampire is someone, it comes from a sickness, which I think is congruent with a lot of the oldest tales. And the Lama 90 says, intelligence, the animals have intelligence, is how they take down prey. Of course, but not as much as us. Like, we are the superior intelligence, obviously. And so we could use that to our advantage. That would be our only advantage, to be honest. It's a massive advantage. It's why we are at the top of the food chain, of course. But once again, you can take a mathematician and put him in a cage with a tiger. The tiger wins. But if you put the said scientist or whatever it is in an environment where they can exploit their intelligence, then they will win. It's a case by case, really. We need information to really come up. Is that what people have been talking about these days? In Warhammer, vampires are both, kinda. I don't remember how it is. Like, I know that Warhammer, like, the undead are treated differently depending on the edition. I know one thing that I thought was really cool is that, at least when it comes to the Tomb Kings, which are different, that they are relatively new to me. I remember old school, like, vampire lords. But Tomb Kings, I think the entire army is raised by the Lich. Leech? Is it Leech? Or Lich? Lich, I think it's pronounced. Leech is it's the little bug, right? Lich. And if you kill it, the whole army is destroyed, if I remember right. Hey, Roslander, good to have you here. Welcome, welcome. Flemish says technically made an undead person named Lazarus. Well, yeah, but he was brought back to life, so he wouldn't be an undead. It was someone who was brought back. It's kind of like resurrection spell, which is kind of different. Basically, from the school of light instead of necromancy. If you want to look at it from D&D perspective, role-playing games perspective. And let me see how are things on Twitch. Hey, Donkey Kong rides on rhinos. You're absolutely right, Purple Moose. Yeah, I remember. Man, do you remember the first Donkey Kong Country for Super Nintendo? That game was technical marvel. Greeting from Iceland. Hey, Olfdan, is that how you pronounce it? Cool name. More life than light. Yeah, say Nicholas. From a Heroes of Might and Magic, it would be life. Yeah, you're right. From a Heroes of Might and Magic perspective, yeah. Mario came from Donkey Kong. You're right. True. Did you hear the whole situation? What's your opinion, guys, on the whole Carl's Jobst situation? What do you guys think? Because I've been following, how he lost the lawsuit and now needs to give... That situation was insane to follow. I've been watching it. I've been reading his tweets. So, So Carl Jobst is this YouTuber, 1 million subscribers. He used to do a lot of speedrunning documentaries, which were very nice to watch. But then he started making a lot of kind of a bit like controversial videos, we could say. Not really controversial, but he's like finding frauds, which he's always done a good job for what I could see. Like he's the one who took down the completionist. But he was doing a lot of videos on this guy, Billy Mitchell. And then Billy Mitchell sued him and won a defamation lawsuit. And now Carl Jobs needs to pay him. See this one here? I lost. And now Carl Jobs needs to pay him 400,000 Australian dollars. You've seen his videos, Kuroyasha? Yeah, I usually like the videos. Honey asks how. Because what happened is that in one of the videos, so basically everyone accuses this guy of being a cheater with Donkey Kong. That's why I got reminded of it now that you were talking. And apparently there is a lot of information that seems to suggest, although I'm not an expert, but seems to suggest that people have built a very strong case. So when he started suing Carl Jobst, everyone thought that he was suing him because he called him a cheater. But the reality of fact is that among the various lawsuits that he initiated, he did like 4 lawsuits, 3 lawsuits. The one that actually did get to court was a defamation lawsuit because in one of his videos, Carl Jobst basically talked about a YouTuber called Apollo Legends that also was sued by Billy Mitchell. And this person was having a lot of trouble in their life. And at one point they decided to unfortunately take their own life, which was horrible. And the way he explained this made it sound as if it was blaming him. And he sued him over it. And also because apparently the two things weren't related. And he lost 400K, guys. 400K. And I know you're going to think, yeah, but he's a popular YouTuber, so he's probably rich. I don't know, because we have a similar subscribe count, me and Carl Jobst. So if I was sued and had to pay 400K, I would be in real trouble. So just because someone has 1 million subscribers, he's probably wealthy, he's probably doing well, but 400K is going to... You know how many videos he needs to make just to pay him off? Let's see what you guys think. And also I've got a few super chats and then I'm going to read on both sides. Voteshall says 400,000. That is a lot of pounds. Yeah, I don't know how many pounds. I think it's 220,000 American dollars, around 350, 380, maybe 350 Australian. But maybe it was 400 because it was a 50,000 because of... This took a few years, so they have to compensate with inflation. I don't remember exactly, but a lot of money, a lot of money. Plus, remember that he still had to pay his lawyers for a couple of years. So he probably lost $500,000 with this entire thing. It's just my guess, but that's what I think. Because he did raise 200,000 just to pay the legal fees. So he needs to pay 350 plus 200,000. This guy is destroyed monetarily. Lawyers are expensive, exactly, C-Time. And I think he wants to appeal, which means spending more money on this. Could you imagine that? Eric Saltvet, thank you for the support. So great. I'll take some of that super chat, put it on a little budget just in case. Although then again, I'm always very polite. I don't think I leave people any ground to sue me anyways, but you never know. 50 Varangian guards versus 50 Praetorian guard. My money's on the Praetorian, but depends on the century, because there are centuries in which the Praetorians were a little rusty, let's put it this way. If it's Praetorians that are actual veterans of combat, like in the times of Augustus or Tiberius, then my money's on the Praetorians. If they are like basically an overpaid body of people, like elite palace guards that just take money but never go to war, then Varangian guard. Arcanum, thank you. You're very generous always in every stream. I appreciate that. Metatron, is it true that the word quarantino, which is, I think means 40, was where the modern English quarantine came from? Was it that ships in Venice had to dock offshore for 40 days before offloading? So it's possible. I don't know the exact etymology of it. But then again, I would say quarantena. That's how you say it in modern Italian. So instead of an I would put an E and then an A at the end. Quarantena is how you say a quarantine in Italian, but modern Italian. So if this is actually linked to the spread of the Yersinia pestis bacterium, so the infectious disease that we usually call the Black Death, or the outbreak of this infectious disease in the Middle Ages, then it's possible that the word was spelled differently, because medieval Italian is similar to modern Italian, but it's still spelled differently oftentimes, and there are differences. So it's possible that that's where it comes from, because of the 40 days. Probably. Who knows? We'll have to look it up. It's interesting. Interesting point. Anyways, I'll admit, I know some people are mad with him because they say that Carl Jobst didn't explain things well, and when he did his crowdfunding. But then again, to also speak in his favor a little bit, when you are being sued, you have to be very careful what you say, because everything you say will be used against you. So at that point, people are considering malice. But he says that he couldn't explain all the details because of the lawsuit. And I mean, anyways, as a human being, I know he's a father, he's got a wife and kid. I feel bad for it, honestly, regardless of whatever the heck. Hippos aren't the best, they can't skateboard. Hippos were in gladiatorial combat too sometimes. French, quarantaine. Cool, similar, very similar. Peroni, yeah, Peroni's good. Opinion on the Shroud of Turin, asks Boo8137. I have a dedicated video, so I would refer you to that. I would suggest you this one. The good one is this one. It's big. It's a big video. Oh, that's me. What a face. So well, I am a noble one, so should I click it? Anyways, this is the one I would refer to. It's a 47 videos, very, very deep, I'll say. So yeah, I would refer you to that one. Thank you. What else have we got? Thank you, John Bauer, for the support. I just noticed your videos on Japanese yokai just now. Ooh, those are like from 7 years ago. Any interesting mythological creatures that Julius Caesar's legionaries may have believed in? There are plenty, and in fact, there are even creatures that are kind of similar. Of course, that they have a lot of creatures in common with ancient Greece. So if you're familiar with anything within ancient Greek mythology, then the Romans oftentimes had an overlap with those. Do remember that the overlap is not always the same. Even the way they tackle religion is different, and medicine, the way they tackle it is very different between Roman schools of medicine and Greek schools of medicine. In the idea of the gods, the Roman saw them more as invisible forces, usually, depends on the god, whereas for the Greeks they were a bit more corporeal. But then again, this is a very, I'm painting in broad strokes, kind of depends on who is speaking. When it comes to other creatures, ghosts, they believe in ghosts, of course. But then again, even in the Middle Ages, ghosts were perceived as very physical. I don't know if you've ever seen how ghosts are represented in medieval art. They are basically zombies. So that's so interesting. Because if someone were to ask me, did medieval people believe in ghosts? I will tell you, yes, but you would call them zombies. Because they have the whole body a lot of the times. Apparitions are there too. But the idea that a ghost is an ethereal entity is not necessarily shared in medieval folklore, at least not the same. There are exceptions depending on where you go. Like if you go into Nordic, then it's kind of different, but you know. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Dark Sikorsky. Good to have you here. What about Cataphract versus Mongol Horse Archer? In general, well, we know that the Mongols were really good at fighting heavy shock cavalry in the sense that they would shoot and retreat, shoot and retreat, shoot and retreat. So in general, my money would be on the Mongols, since they even gave trouble to medieval armor. Not plate necessarily, that's the time of mail mostly, but still. Thank you, Purple Moose, for gifting a subscription on Twitch. I appreciate that. The GM says Mitchell never sued Apollo. For what I could read, he did. He didn't get money from him, but I think he did initiate a... Then I don't know. I might be wrong. So you should double check too, because I haven't looked into this that deeply. Just watched a little bit. Holfdan, so you're one of those that doesn't like Carl Jobs, I guess, because you say he grifted his audience for money for his lawyers. I mean, he asked, we crowdfunded it. It's not like he... To grift, you have to know that what you're saying is false and say it anyway. That's what a grifter is, by the way, which is why... because maybe you do mean it that way, so I'm not necessarily responding to you when it comes to that. But in general, the word grifter these days is used whenever someone talks about a topic that is either controversial or politically connected. Then you're a grifter because you're making money out of, for instance, the culture war. But in reality, if you believe in what you say, and that's actually your opinion, then you're not a grifter. Like literally, technically, that's the definition of grifter. You have to know that what you're saying is false and say it for money because of clout. Then you're a grifter. So, but people today just say grifter when they're like, oh, they're speaking about a political view that I disagree with. Grifter immediately. So I've become a little sensitive when it comes to that word, in the sense that I tend to roll my eyes. Again, not to you, but in general. I wanted to show that we got someone in the comments, Kretch Gunford, and you are also a YouTuber over here. Thank you very much for being here. Let's check out your channel. I always do that. Whenever I see a tick, I check the channel. And if someone tells me that they have a channel, even if they don't have a tick, wow, you've got a lot of stuff. Let me see what you have. The Paradox of Poetry for members. I'll have to see. Well, I can't watch it because I'm not a member, but that's fine. Let me see. Find their oldest myths. So you're into mythology. Hey, someone was talking about mythology earlier on the stream. You guys should go check this guy out. Odin. I think that's how you pronounce it. In Old Norse. The first gods of Egypt. This looks like a really fun channel. I'm going to have to check your channel out, mate. Look at that. Very cool. Well, guys, if you're into... We got something to do tonight. After the stream, we can all go watch his comparative mythology. I love that. Love the approach, mate. Good to have you here. Unknown says the Roman Catholics say Holy Ghost, not Holy Spirit. We'll have to see how ancient that word is. The way of using Holy Ghost, and also that's English, but in Italian there is no difference. So what you're saying now, it's only from the perspective of the Anglophone sphere, because in Italian it's Spirito Santo. It's spirit. You cannot say Fantasma Santo, because Fantasma is the word for ghost in Italian. No one, you can't say it that way. So once again, a little Anglo-centric, your perspective in this, we would have to see. That's why I was saying it depends on the region. Like I only mentioned the Nordic, but depending on the region, things can change. But yeah. And then we would have to see how that works in medieval. You know. You're very welcome, Craig. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Is it Craig Ganford? Or Craig? Yeah, I guess it's Craig Ganford. Anyways, good to have you here, man. Absolutely, yeah, you're very welcome. It's good to have you here. UK Folklore Society occasionally have digital conferences which discuss the latest work. Very nice. Have you ever been interested in Basque language? Not really, Sombra. Not one of the languages I've seen or studied ever, to be honest. Craig Gamford. I'll probably butcher it unless I hear it. Doi, thank you for supporting the stream. Hey, yo, wondering if you have seen the trial of the Sycamore Gap in the UK this week, which destroyed a part of Hadrian's Wall. Oh no. Why? Why did they do that? No, I haven't got a clue. Destroyed a part of of Hadrian's Wall. Goodness gracious. But was it like done on purpose or what? I'll have to check it. Top stories. Trial starts to men accused of felling... What? Okay, yeah, we have to check this one. We'll absolutely read this during the stream in a minute. We'll check it. 100%. I put it on a tab. Put it on a tab. Look how organized I am. Let's see. Nick says, what is the best ancient name for girls? Personally, I love... It's not necessarily ancient, so it depends what you mean by ancient, but one name that I love, my favorite word in the Bible, in Hebrew, which is my favorite word in Hebrew, is the word Laila, which means night. I think it's a beautiful word. I think it would be nice to call a girl Laila. And the word exists also in Arabic, but I think they pronounce it Layla. It's a gorgeous word. I don't know what it is, but I love the sound of it. There are plenty of names in Latin that are very nice. If you want something ancient, look at Latin names for girls. Have you ever done a dive in Roman occult stuff? Not the Roman occult. Occult? Occult. No, not really. Not really. Yes, they did it, done on purpose in ignorance. That's terrible, LK. Destroying something so old is such a horrible thing. I hope they go to jail. for it. Like, if there is one thing that I have no patience towards, is vandalism against historical statues, structures, and art. I think it's just, there's no excuse for it. There's no excuse for it. Like, I don't care if it's activism. I don't care if there are other ways to present your ideas to the public. Not to mention the public is going to be enraged, and so they're not going to sympathize with you. So if anything, you're hurting your cause, even in a situation when there is activism behind it. But when there isn't, and they're just doing it just to be stupid, they should be imprisoned for it, or at least fined, like in a massive way, and forced to do some civil service to repair the societal damage. That's what I think. Leila is also a name in Portuguese. I didn't know that. Huh. What does occult mean? Occult is like the forces of evil, but a little bit like black magic or demonology. All of that could be considered as the occult. So the study of all of these like types of demonic things, depending on that's how I would define occult. We have that word in Italian, occulto. That's how we say it. Not necessarily hidden forces. It has usually the occult, in my understanding, has to do with like forces of evil, rather than like you could have, maybe it's not like the same as, maybe, I don't know. I mean, you could argue that it could also have something to do with hidden, maybe in the etymology of it. I don't know, but yeah. Kind of like witchcraft, yeah, sure, sure. That's a very good question, Honey. Uh, they're asking, do you see other gods as demons? No, not necessarily, no. Okay, I think it depends. I mean, if you tell me that there is a religion, and in this religion they are worshipping this god, and this god asks for this, sacrifice of children, then it's either completely false, or maybe in that case I could see it that way. But in general, to me, it's either, from my perspective, which is clearly biased because I'm Christian, so I do recognize my bias. I'm not gonna be intellectually dishonest and say no, I have no bias. I have a bias. But from my perspective, it's either it's not true, or if it's more of a father god figure, then I don't see it necessarily as, like, for instance, the fact that the Norse were worshipping Odin as the father god, then I don't see it. I don't believe in Odin, but I don't see it completely unreasonable to think that maybe some of these people, as they were worshipping the father and gave it a different name, but it was still the same god. Although, yeah, I don't see that as particularly if they claim to have had some spiritual experiences, for instance, which I do believe in. And I know that some of you don't, and I respect that, by the way. Then I don't see it as necessarily, unless it's my exact religion, everything else is demonology. I think that's a very close-minded way to see it. The Bible itself says you'll recognize them by their fruits, so I first look at the fruits of what they present. Let's see. Hagop says, Layla is a very common name in the Middle East, and some other cultures too, like Turks use it, and even Armenians. It's a beautiful sounding name. I can see why. It's gorgeous. Very, very nice. Tomichiko asks, but why do you think your God is the true one, and others are either the same thing or does not exist? Well, I think already the fact that I say others may be the same shows you that I am kind of willing to look into the situation and not tell you. Because at the end of the day, the religion you choose is the path you try to reach God. As a Christian, I only believe that we can only go back to God through Christ. That's what I believe. and I'm not going to apologize for it. It's what I believe. But at the end of the day, I still think that people have the freedom to disagree and think differently and think, no, that their religion, whether it be a specific type of Christianity that they think it's better, or whether it be a completely different form of religion, I think they should be free to disagree and follow it and believe it as much as they want. The why is because I'm religious. Like, the moment you are religious, then yeah, if I'm a Christian, I will believe. Like, it would be like asking a Buddhist, or it would be like asking a Muslim, or asking whatever it is, even an atheist at that point, why they choose to believe something. It's a choice. Atheists don't believe, and there is a reason, because they want the proof, or maybe there are some aspects of our life that convince them that there is no God, and I understand that intellectually, of course. I have my own takes on those, but then again, I'm not sure I want to make it too much of a religiously oriented stream. But just to finish your answer, it's the same reason as to why someone chooses a different path. You make a choice based on your own personal experience, some of which are spiritual for me, and then you stick to that choice. Yeah, of course, I take no offense. I don't. Anyone can ask any question. Totally. Yeah, I respect that you have no belief. Absolutely, it's your freedom. Let's see. Did samurai test their swords on peasants? Asks David. On peasants, no, but on convicts, yes. So if you have someone who is about to be executed, they would test their swords on them, and then on their body after death, which is on their corpse, which is very macabre if you think about it, but they did do that. And we have evidentiary, like we have evidence to prove that they did it. But the idea of what you're referring to, with the idea of samurai just striking people in the streets, it's called kiristegomen in Japanese, which means to cut and leave, kind of for death. But that's something that only, it's kind of a law that allowed, but it only worked, very controversial even in feudal Japan, and then oftentimes it was lifted. But even for the moments that you had that, it basically allowed a samurai that felt disrespected by someone who is below them, like for instance a peasant, that said that a peasant started mocking a samurai or did something that they weren't supposed to, and the samurai could cut them and then say, oh well, he offended me. And in general, the law would be on the side of the samurai. However, you needed to have a witness, because if you didn't have a witness, then you would be put in private, like domiciliary arrest, and then if no one could prove it, you could be executed for it. So it's not a situation that samurai could just kill every peasant they wanted and they had no repercussion. Now, given if you're a upper class, like one of the powerful, like daimyo, yeah, I mean, you can do whatever you want. You're basically above the law. So it kind of depends. But I think that's where the question was coming from. And if the idea is, could the samurai just go around and test their swords on any peasant with no repercussions? The answer is no. Ronin probably did. Still no, because the law is against them. Like, you, unless you're drunk. I guess if you're a Ronin and you're drunk, and you, of course, that would have happened. But then they would have had repercussions unless they could get away with it. But what I'm saying is that from a system point of view, you weren't allowed to just go around and cut people however you wanted. I see you says, I'm a Buddhist. Nice to have a Buddhist here with us. Hello, everybody. Hello, Thunderbird. We're having a good stream tonight. Am I right, Kaisar? Because Kaisar always tells me the number of people watching. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Say Nicholas says, solid values, Metatron. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Let's see. Okay, let me see if I can reduce the it seems like a couple of you are getting too many lives, too many ads. I don't know exactly. Let me see if I can change it. Yes, I can. Okay, great. All right, you should be getting less ads now. Let me know if that worked. Apologies, still working on it. Still a work in progress. Trying to figure it out. Still a work in progress. Now it should be better. Should be better. Again, for what I can control, there are things that I unfortunately can't control from the system. Favorite VR games, asks Tassosm. Ooh, that's a difficult one. Favorite VR games? There is a combat one, like the one that, oh, what was it called? Damn it, I don't remember the name, but there is one where you can like use swords and shields and fight. I love that game. Sometimes I play it in my garden so that I have a lot of room on the grass. As long as the sun is not out, it's okay. If the sun is out and it's not cloudy, you have to be very careful because it could burn your lenses of your VR set. So you would have, when you take it off, you have to cover the lenses. You can still do it, but you have to be careful a little bit. But if it's like a little cloudy, it's perfect for a VR session. What was it called, damn it? I don't remember the name, but I spent quite a few hours fighting with that game. It was pretty good. Very good discussion on tonight. I agree, Wildwoods. We're having a good time. Will I ever make a video on Etruscans? Ask a just person. I already did. There is a video dedicated to the Etruscans. It's not a long one, but it's on the channel. And then I have one on Etruscan steel, like smithing techniques. So I have two. I have two. Of course you're a noble one. O3R Men's. 1 million special. So let me tell you about that. Because apart from the fact that I do want to make like a nice video for the 1 million special, but I am being partnering with a company called, let me give you this little, Makeship. Do you guys know Makeship? I've already partnered, what a word, with them. They make plushies. And we did a nice little thing where I came out with a plushie, and then at that time I didn't make any money from it, from the collaborations, because I sent the money to, it was a special occasion. Basically, we sent the money to St. Jude's Hospital for children. But in this case, we wanted to make a plushie, the actual first plushie that I will do to help support the channel, since the first one, it was just for charity. And it's going to be a special Metatron plushie. I'm going to show you now. It's not complete though. So what I'm going to show you, what I'm showing you now is a little bit of a work in progress, okay? Just so I can get your opinions on what we've done so far. And it's nice because we're going to have a limited edition first run that is going to be pedantic edition. It's going to, exactly, concept art. And it's going to be, the pedantic edition is going to be limited for the 1 million special, and then the rest will be normal, so not pedantic edition. Pedantic edition. So I want to show you, it's I think it's great, personally. That's what I think. I think it's great. I think it really looks nice. And that's just that we're working on it, but they got the Brigandine right. They got the Brigandine right. Let me show you. So it's going to look something like this. We got the hair. We got the beard and the Brigandine. And then this is not how it's going to be written. I just wrote it with Photoshop to tell them, hey, you need to add for the special pedantic edition. But he's going to have pedantic under his feet, so that when he's standing, you don't see it. But when he's sitting, you get the pedantic. The Llama 90 says, I need it. Yeah, so we're going to launch it for the million. So I think it's going to be maybe, it's going to take, what, a couple of months, perhaps? But that's what it looks like for now. Pedantic edition. So, yeah. And what's funny is that the idea of adding pedantic and making it into a special edition was inspired by a fan. And it's a little girl. I want to show you because her dad follows me on X. And I thought it was a heartwarming thing to see. Let me show you. You get a little behind the scenes, a little bit of the Metatron lore here. So recently on X, I posted a few pictures. Anyways, the other day, let me see if I can find it. This guy that he follows me is really nice. He told me that his daughter made she also watches my videos, and she drew me. And that's when he kind of said, there we go, I found it. So she drew me like this. This is my Twitter, by the way, Metatron, if you don't follow me. And she drew me like this. She's 11. She's 11. Her name is Hadi. And that's her dad, this guy here. Very cool guy. And yeah, she drew me like this, and the thing that killed me, it was so funny. Wait 1 minute, I'm going to be pedantic. I love that's the word that she thought of when she was drawing me, pedantic. So that's what, and at the time I was already working on the, um, I was already working on the plushie. And then I told the dad, I said, hey, I'm going to send your daughter a free plushie to thank her for this. Also because she inspired me now to basically add the word pedantic. Yeah, pretty impressive for an 11-year-old. I agree. It's pretty good. It's actually impressive. She did a fantastic job. And so we spoke a little bit back and forth with the father. And I said, I'd be happy to send her a complimentary plushie. And that's what inspired, basically, the idea of making it pedantic edition. It's killing me. That is gonna be pedantic edition is great. Pedantry, I embrace it. Ooh, I embrace it, guys. I do embrace it. So that's what that is. I thought it was adorable, very heartwarming, very nice. So that's what's gonna happen. But yeah. So anyways, the other thing that I shared, since we are into sharing today, I just made this post yesterday night, and I thought some people were like, no way, that's you. But I shared a picture of me when I was 18, because when I was 18, I was in the Navy, in the Italian Navy. And here it is. Since today we're going back to, this is me at age 18 in the Navy. No beard. I don't think I was growing a bit of a beard already, but I had to shave. You know, you have to shave when you're in the, yeah. So yeah, that's a young Metatron, I suppose. I look high AF. Oh, I never used drugs in my life, so that was me naturally. Maybe I was high on pasta. I was high on pasta, yes. But yeah, Navy guy. I was a Navy guy. To be honest, though, my job was, for the majority of the time that I spent in the Navy, my job was to be the guard in front of the gate in the barracks. Okay, so that's what I did. I was just standing in front of the freaking gate all night. So that's me. I think I have more, though. Yeah, Metatron. It looks faded. Yeah, because this is taken with an old school camera. Now, how young? I was 18. How long was you in there? In the Navy, not that long. I was there for a few months. But then I became friends with this captain, colonel, maybe. I don't know what he was, but he was someone higher up. And he asked me, do you want to be here? And I said, no, sir. And so it's like, well, if you want, I can send you home early. Still honorable release and whatnot. And I said, oh, thank you, sir. And so he sent me home, and then I moved to England. And then, because I wanted to learn English, and that's how, I don't know, maybe if that didn't happen, would I have gone to the UK? Would I have picked up English? Would I speak English now? Who knows? But at that point, I couldn't speak English yet. What you saw in this picture, I still couldn't speak English. What made me join? Conscription, my friend. I was forced to join. It's not like I had a choice in the matter. It's either you join or they come and get you. so yeah. So that happened, I suppose. That's the story. That's the story behind that situation. I have more pictures of me in the Navy. I'll have to see if I can find them. Yeah, maybe I'll find them later. Same in Finland, yeah. Every male, yeah. No, female don't need to. Well, now conscription is gone. They lifted it in 2004 or 2005. I don't remember. I think they lifted it in 2004, mandatory conscription, and then it effectively stopped in 2005 because there were still some people that were like called in, and that was it. And you didn't choose. You could be called to serve in the army, in the Navy, or in the Air Force, and it depended on what month you were born. And since I was June born, then that meant Navy. And that's that. The conscriptatron. Yeah. Conscriptatron, that's me. But yeah, at that time, every adult male had to serve in the armed forces. And by the way, I know that from an American perspective, the Navy isn't part of the military. In Italy it's different because we call it Marina, which means Navy, Militare, which means military. I don't know how the organization works, but for us it is part of the military. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert. and I wasn't that interested to figure out all the details when I was 18. I just wanted to get done with the marching and with my guarding and just get some free time. Luckily, regular army, they would have to serve from the morning, wake up at 6:30, same for me. Then you have the flag, then you sing the Italian anthem, Fratelli d'Italia. So we would be like, you wake up at 6:30, eat, get dressed in uniform, shave, eat, and then by 7 you need to be at the center of the barracks to sing as they lift the Italian flag. And then we would be like, Fratelli d'Italia, l'Italia se desta. I still know it by heart, of course. I had to sing it every freaking morning. And then after that, you have to serve, marching, cleaning, guard duty, all of that kind of stuff. And then we would be released at 4 p.m. I think the army, usually they get the leave at 6. We got it at 4 because the Navy was always treated a little bit better. And so what you do from 4 to the evening is up to you. You can go out with your friends. But if you leave the barracks, you still have to leave it in uniform. So they were like, you're still, I guess, armed forces in a way, although they're against Navy. But, you know, it kind of depends, I guess. Now, clearly, the Italian Navy is a joke compared to the American Navy, but still, you know, it was what it was. That's how it was. The Italian anthem is beautiful. I think it's pretty cool, the Italian anthem, yeah. Also, there is the section where it says, how is it? Fratelli d'Italia, l'Italia se desta nell'elmo di Scipio se cinta la testa. Dell'elmo di Scipio se cinta la testa, yeah. So it says, and Italy... Brothers of Italy, Italy has woken up, that's how you translate it, Fratelli d'Italia, Italia se desta, dell'elmo di Scipio, from Scipio's helmet, se cinta la testa, adorned his head, that's what it means, so there is a reference to ancient Rome, and then you say, schiava di Roma, Dio la creò, slave of Rome, God created it. It's a good anthem if you translate it. See, I've heard the full anthem, absolutely. That's what Apocalypse was asking me if I have listened to the whole... Yeah, I did. Usually we don't. Usually it's just the first, right? I did. How are things? Are we playing more Oblivion Remastered? One of these nights, yes, at night. I will. I don't know if I'm going to play it tonight. Or because at night I do a little bit of gaming on Twitch. So I don't know if I'm going to play tonight. Kind of depends on how sleepy I get. Thank you, Domina, for subscribing with Prime for 2 months. I really appreciate that on Twitch. Thank you. L'Italia se desta. Technically kind of the Roman Navy. How do you mean? Por favor 92, like I don't understand. Unless you wrote something else before that I missed and there was a continuation of your comment. The Romans did have a navy, by the way. The idea that they didn't until the Second World War is a myth. It's Second World War. Yeah, that would have taken a long one. Second Punic War, apologies. So Vain Pride says, Metatron, the US Navy is part of the normal military. You may be thinking of how a lot of people view the US Coast Guard. Oh, I see. Yeah, I was just telling, because whenever I say on my videos, if I ever say, I only said it like once, I guess, because it was pertinent to what we were talking about. And I said, yeah, I was in the Navy, so I was in the military. And then I get a lot of comments, oh, Navy is not military, like people getting mad. So that's the only reason why I said that. I don't actually know how it works. Navy is considered military in the US. Okay, then the people in the comments were full of it. I appreciate that you clarified this for me now. Thank you. It's funny because in the UK, some have argued for the return of national service for decades. Yeah, some people argued for that in Italy as well, because, I mean, it has pros and cons. On one hand, if you have to serve for like a year, you're kind of... In older times, you had to serve, like maybe when my dad served in the Alps, because he's northern, and they put him in the artillery corps because his father, so my grandfather, was an actual colonel, of the artillery corps in the Alps, and my father served in that same corps. Um, but at that time, if you were called to serve as a for conscription in the Navy, you had to serve for 2 years. It was longer. And on one hand, I mean, if you're looking for a career in the armed forces, then I guess that's good, because you can do that, and then it will be easier for you to turn that into a career. But if not, if you lose 2 years of like university studies, it's not great. It teaches you discipline, so on one hand that's good, but on the other hand, if you have other projects, you want to do other things with your life, it's pros and cons, I suppose. Did other branches made fun of you a lot in the Navy? Not really, no. We always got along with the Army and the Air Force. The Air Force guys were always a little bit cocky, but I guess that's just how they are. It's a requirement. It's a requirement. I always loved their uniforms. So yeah. Yes, Colonel, you said it right. The spelling of the word confuses everybody. Oh yeah, and the other one is lieutenant, that some people say lieutenant. I usually say lieutenant, but lieutenant objectively makes more sense because of the way it's written. Oblivion VR mod when? I think people are saying it's already available, but I don't know where, because I want it. Man, I want to visit Cyrodiil. Do I practice fencing? I used to, now I don't. Man, when would I do it? I love Italian police uniforms. They're so pretty. So which one do you like, Polizia or Carabinieri? Let's have a look. I don't know which ones you're referring to. So we're going to show both. Carabinieri are the darker blue. Polizia are the lighter blue. Polizia Italiana. And then let me show you Carabinieri. There we go. So let me show you. So this is Polizia in Italy. So they're basically the police. They're the ones with the lighter shirts, and their cars are light blue. This is the police, right? In Italy, including the Lamborghini. But the fact that they have a Lamborghini, it's only in Rome and in another town. I don't remember if it's Perugia or Torino. Only 2 cities have the Lamborghini for the police, but everyone else, I mean, good luck running away from them. But everyone else is regular cars. Usually Alfa Romeo, I think, is one of the most common for the police. Per la Polizia Italiana. Yeah. Lambo at top. Yeah, I love Lamborghini. I mean, look at this. Look at this monster. Woohoo! But anyways, this is Polizia. That's the police. And these are the Carabinieri. Instead, they are dark blue. So whenever you see... What the Carabinieri are, they are military police. They're part of the military. So they're a little different from... I think they're more heavily armed as well than the police, because we're not like the UK. In Italy, the police are armed. Everyone is armed. But I think police officers have GUNs, whereas Carabinieri may have a bit more, but I don't know. So yeah, Carabinieri are dark blue. I also think that. And then you have Guardia di Finanza. Have you ever seen Guardia di Finanza? Let me show you. We're going to see Guardia di Finanza. Let me show you. And then you have the gray ones. Guardia di Finanza, these guys. They are the ones, I think, that take care of, like... what do they do? Like banks, maybe? It's another corps as well. There are so many corps when it comes to the police in Italy. I don't even know why. But yeah, there are plenty. A Guardia di Finanza. Maybe if there is like some money scams, they are the ones that take care of it. Everything has to do with money, I think, with them. I mean, in America as well, you go CIA, FBI, you go DEA. You also have a lot of stuff. Am I right? So yeah. I didn't think we were going to talk about this, but here we are. Maybe they're paramilitary, yeah, Apocalypse. I don't know exactly the distinction. But yeah, no, Carabinieri, I was friends with a Carabiniere, and he was like some kind of captain, I think. I don't remember his exact rank, but I do remember that he was in command of, I think, 80 or 100 men and a tank, because they do have tanks as well. So it's like, It's not the military just yet, but there was a time in Italy that I remember, I think it happened either in the late 90s or the early 2000s, that was called Operazione Strade Sicure. You're good, it's gonna blow your mind. Operazione Strade Sicure, which means safe streets operation. And this happened, I remember when I was like, maybe I was 20. What Operazione Strade Sicure was, is that every police officer was guarded by two guys from the military, that the actual army. And they just went around. Yeah, you see, they even wrote it on their stuff. So basically the army, I don't know why they did that. I don't know what was happening in Italy. But pretty much you would see this. You would see a police officer with two heavily armed military guys walking around the streets. And as you can see here, police and armed forces. The only other time that I've seen this happen was in Milan. When we went to Milan with my wife maybe a year ago. But I'm glad they did in that case, because Milan, during like end of the year, you get a lot of crime, like a lot, particularly in the center plaza. And so there was some problems with, gosh, it was a mess. They had a lot of people being attacked. So last year, what they did, and it was crazy to see, you had like, I want to say thousands of people in that plaza. I could see it in that central square in Milan, and I could see it from the hotel where we were staying, because our hotel was basically on this main, where there is the Duomo, which is the big church. But man, I've never seen anything like it. Like, all of the square was surrounded by the military and police. I'm talking crazy numbers. It was absolutely F around and find out situation, which was, in my opinion, was good, because we felt safer, since, I mean, I have nothing to fear if I'm a good citizen. Am I right? But that happened. Yeah, I remember that. Lamborghini or Ferrari? Ferrari, but Lamborghini is a close second. So yeah. You have the National Guard. Yeah, kind of similar, Cubes, exactly. Yes. Kind of similar to that. I think they basically would be like they called the National Guard in every major city. I don't know why they did that, though I don't remember what happened. Something happened. So yeah. Maybe that's an interesting one with Soda. You're saying Carabinieri work like the French gendarmerie. Maybe. And you know what's interesting? The gendarmes are medieval. It's just that if you look, well, early modern era, so really at the end of the Middle Ages, Renaissance, and then the beginning of the Renaissance, so the very early modern era. But when you're in the 16th century, technically not medieval, but the original gendarmes, where that names come from, they weren't police, they were knights in full plate armor. I have a dedicated video, by the way, which shows the difference. And I had a blast researching that video. That's what gendarmes, French gendarmes, looked like in the 16th century. This. And then with the skirt. I don't know if you've ever seen them with the skirt. Let me see if I show... I think I do show some iconography. And I really thought, man, gendarmes were badass. Let's see. So, not this. I thought I showed some... I'm sure that it's here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I found it. Wait. It's here. That's what they looked like. These are gendarmes. So that's where the name come from. Which is kind of crazy. Thank you, Caveat, for supporting the stream. What are your thoughts on American pizza? I like it as long as I tell myself it's not Italian pizza, and so it's fine. You know, if I tell myself, am I expecting American pizza to taste exactly like pizza back home, then I'm going to start becoming nitpicky. But that's the way I do it. Like whenever it's... Because I'm someone who's lived abroad for many years, so I enjoy it as long as I tell myself it's Italian American, it's not American, and then I like it, depending on the pizza. But yeah, Italy won the soccer. Like when did they win? Robo Armadillo, thank you for supporting the stream. Hi Metatron, how are you? Are you going? Everything is going well, thank you. What is your favorite pasta to cook? Oh, I'm a simple man. Just give me tomato sauce with a little basil, made from scratch, and I love it. As an Italian, do you consider Easy Mac to be Heresy, keep up the great work. No, my wife likes making mac and cheese, and when she does, I enjoy it. It's good. She makes it a little spicy, which I like. What I consider to be heresy is pineapple on pizza. That will always create a diplomatic crisis with me. It is what it is. Metatron, Ducati or Aprilia? Ducati. Ducati. Absolutely. Have you heard of the recent study that says Phoenicians are genetically similar to Sicilians and Greeks? I never heard of that because I always thought Phoenicians were Semitic. But let me note it down so maybe I can look at this study at one point and then see what they are basing it on. And when they say Sicilian, do they mean modern or Greeks? Do they mean like now? Are they saying back in the day, in Roman times? Because the genetics of Sicily changes a lot. Like imagine if you take samples before the Norman conquest and after the Norman conquest, there is going to be different genetic makeup, not for the entire population, of course. We're still talking about possibly minorities within a given population cluster, but still, yeah. Yeah. And you're asking me, what do you think of Berlusconi? Ooh, Berlusconi. So you see, when Berlusconi was a thing in Italy, I was too young to care. I did not care about politics. My dad loved Berlusconi because my dad is definitely like a center-right guy politically. My mom wasn't into politics, so she wouldn't care. My cousin is a full-on communist, so we got it all in the family. We got it all. We got centrist, we got right-wingers, we got lefties, we got everything. Anyways. So I was too young to care, to be honest. I remember my dad telling him that he liked Berlusconi, but like he liked Forza Italia, but he didn't like as much Alleanza Nazionale because to him it was a little too right, I guess. I don't know. But I have no idea, honestly. Will Palermo get promoted this season? I don't really follow Italian football teams anymore that much. Have I seen the channel Pasta Grama? No, I haven't. Seymour says on Twitch, Chicago deep dish pizza isn't Chicago style, it's deep dish. Chicago style pizza is tavern style. Ooh, thin, cut into squares. I did not know that. That's good to know. I'd like to try a deep dish pizza. I never have, and I wouldn't be against it. I would try it. I'm for thin. I like thin pizza. In fact, Neapolitan style is my favorite. The pizza that you lift the slice and it falls. So, because the mozzarella is too heavy. So you kind of have to fold it. That's what I like. That's my favorite. But I'm open. You know, I'm open. Usually there isn't a type of pizza that I'm not going to enjoy. All pizza tastes good. And you're saying accurate. Good. Good to know. Do you think current Sicily is overpopulated? No, I don't think so. There's a lot of space in Sicily. That I know of. I don't know if it changed. Thank you, Jason, for supporting the stream. I heard that the best place to get Italian food is in Tokyo. What are your thoughts on this? Not necessarily Tokyo, but Japan? Well, no. I mean, the best place to get Italian food is in Italy. But given that as granted, taking that as granted, in Japan in general, it doesn't have to be Tokyo, though. I've been to some excellent Italian restaurants in Kansai as well. So as long as they have what they call kanban, which is a sign that says real Neapolitan pizza, they have to pay for that, and then they have to be trained for it. If they have that, then I'll show you. So the next time you go to any other country and you want to see, is this Italian pizzeria authentic? Look for this. I'll give you a little life hack. Vera Pizza Napoletana. It's an association. They are very strict about it. So this is what the pizza looks like in Naples most of the times. They're not all like this one, for example. It's very artistic, the way pizza is made in Naples. But anyways, what I wanted to show you, sorry if I'm getting you hungry, is the sign. There we go. So, if you go to a pizzeria and it has this sign, it's probably really good. And I've been to a few pizzeria in Japan that had this sign, and my gosh, it was perfect. Like actually really good. Actually really, yeah, very artisanal, you're right. So that's what I would, sorry the lamb, I got you hungry, apologize. But yeah, so yeah, vera means real, exactly. Vera means real in Italian. So real pizza, Napoletana, approved and whatnot. In my experience, when you eat pizza in a foreign land, then yeah, this is typical. They do this in Naples. Neapolitan pizza, it's a little bit soupy, but it's good. Like this tastes incredible. But that's why I say, like, you cut it like this. If you don't fold it, it's gonna be a mess. And now I'm hungry. Great, fantastic. But yeah, I needed to share this. Have you ever had pizza in New York? I did, yes. I tried a lot of places. I tried the famous places in New York. Man, we're talking about pizza tonight. I tried the famous places, and I tried places that were less like commercial or touristic. And I liked New York pizza. If you ask me, the Neapolitan pizza in Naples is the best. Like, it's impossible to... It's even better than other regions in Italy. Pizza in Naples is just phenomenal. But pizza in Sicily is really good. Once I watched this guy, it was like a YouTuber from the north of Italy, and he said that he went to Sicily once, had pizza, and it was bad. So it was like, oh, pizza, Sicilians don't know how to make pizza. You're an absolute idiot because you didn't go to the right places. Of course, this can happen anywhere. Like, it would be like me trying one place in New York, try the pizza, maybe I went to a bad place and tell you New Yorkers don't know how to make pizza. No, you need to, if you want, either don't express an opinion and just say, guys, in my experience, I only tried the ones that didn't like it, but who knows? Or if you are gonna make a statement like that, then you have to ask the locals and tell them where is the best place to, because I know there is a place in Palermo. If you ever go to Palermo, it's called Archestrato di Gela, and you have to try that before you form an opinion on Sicilian pizza. And it's this place here, Archestrato di Gela in Palermo, very ancient Greek looking. Man, the pizza here is gonna blow your mind. And another one that is fantastic in, I'm giving you a little tour guide of Palermo, best places. Another one is, and the one I'm gonna show you is my wife's favorite, it's called Siculo Pizzeria. And once again, you go to Palermo and you want to be like, yeah, but I have a few days in Palermo. I need to try the best pizza they can make. This is where you go. Siculo. Okay, this is where you go. Then you can have an opinion on Sicilian pizza. Okay. And so that's the same. But yeah, as I say, I liked the pizza in New York. It was pretty good. Pretty good. I'm just giving you, I'm just telling it how it is. I'm just keeping it real for the stream. Just keeping it real, guys. And then Tomichiko says, wait, the ristorante isn't authentic Italian pizza. You're talking about the frozen, right? No, a good frozen pizza that you can get in America that is imported from Italy, man, I'm like the pizza expert tonight, is the one made by Paul Newman. The one that, like, you buy and all the money goes to the children. They don't keep anything. He has some excellent pizza, frozen pizza. Never as good as fresh pizza made, of course, but if it's frozen and that's what you've got, he makes some really good ones. Thank you, Tassom, for supporting the stream. It's on Flat2 VR Discord mod. It's called, UE VR Oblivion has already motion controls. Really works really good on my 4080. If you need help, find me on Discord. Ooh, that's nice. Okay, well, I'll see. So I can use it on my Quest 2. I'm definitely going to try it. Hunger level rises. Sorry, guys. My apologies. Favorite city in Sicily? For me, Palermo as a city, because that's where I was brought up. But one place that I love, and I took both my wife and my mother-in-law when they came to Sicily to meet my family before we got married during our official engagement. Man, they were surrounded by like 50 Sicilians in that house. Everyone was like, you marry my nephew. It was fantastic. My gosh, you had my aunt, and she's 99, And she was there. It was so good. It was great. It was such an experience. It was such an experience for my wife and my mother-in-law. I really appreciated, of course, that my mother-in-law flew to meet the family and all that, and they made it a big deal. They were all very warming because that's the south. I mean, the north is wonderful as well in Italy. But as a southern Italian, I like speaking about these things. Of course, southern Italians are very, I don't know how to say it. Like if you go to a situation like that, like a family gathering, they will ask everything about your life. Everything. Like they will be, are you married? Why are you not married? You want the children, huh? They'll tell you, they will want to know everything about your life. But they're going to be very, very open-minded, very welcoming towards whoever. It's a beautiful girl for my nephew. Yeah, my uncles. I'm glad that like few of those uncles unfortunately passed away after that, but I'm really glad that my wife managed to meet them. It was good. It was a good time, and but anyways, one place that I took them to is an archaeological site in Sicily that is called Selinunte, and it's basically if you see, I don't know if you know. Let me show you the map. Mappa della Sicilia. Today is an Italian stream, isn't it? So this is Sicily, right? Okay, this is Sicily. And this is Palermo. It's basically up here. If you drive all the way straight down from Palermo into this area where you have Agrigento and the famous Valley of Temples, which is full of ancient Greek temples in phenomenal state. But if you go straight, there is a little town called Selinunte. I kind of want to show you. Sicilians are Turks. You're objectively incorrect, but I don't take offense because I think Turkish people are cool. But you're wrong. Let me show you Selinunte. Sicilia. There we go. And this is what I love. So you drive and you'll end up in this. And Selinunte is an entire... It's a sea... ancient Greek sea battlement area. You can still see the buildings, the walls that were manned on the commercial port that had a military. This stuff is 3,000 years old, by the way. Maybe older than that, in fact. But yeah, around 3,000 years old, and it's gorgeous. And you could just drive there, enter, pay $5, and you can spend all day among the ruins. And it's really, really beautiful. And it's on the sea. It's nice. So I took my wife and my mother-in-law. You can kind of see this is the whole settlement, and then it's very beautiful. So that's what I would suggest to visit, Selinunte. But there are a lot of places like this in Sicily. It's full of stuff like that. The view is epic, yeah, the ruins. And you don't, it's kind of far from the bigger cities. So you don't even see, sometimes like I love Agrigento and the Valley of Temples, which is the famous tourist location. Agrigento, Valley of Temples. It's wonderful. And then if you see it at night, they light up the temples. This is Agrigento and the Valley of Temples, and they light up, maybe if I write at night, it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. But the only thing is that you can kind of see the modern city when you go. Whereas Selinunte is kind of far away from the modern city. And so it really gives you a feeling that you're going back in time. And a similar feeling I had in another location in Sicily that is called Segesta. And Segesta is this. And what's beautiful about Segesta is that it's up on a hill. And one of the main differences between the way ancient Greeks built temples, because these are all Greek, and the way the Romans built temples, is that the Greeks built the temples outside the towns in areas that they would consider sacred, right? And so you will go here, and that's what it looks like. You just see this. It's in the middle of nature. Whereas the Romans would build their temples inside the towns. And so this is a phenomenal... You go up the steps, and then you reach the temple, and you feel like you've gone back 3,000 years in the past. You do not see anything modern around, which to me is absolutely wonderful. Yeah. I don't know why it's verified accounts only on Twitch. I don't know how to change it. Sorry, Nevim, for that. I'll have to figure it out after the stream. Would you be able to pronounce this for me properly? Pronounce it. Oh, I think it's paella, but it's Spanish. So, I mean, I'm not sure I'm the best one to ask. Napolitan definitely the best, says Sovereign on Twitch. I agree. Murph says, wow, yeah, Sicily is gorgeous. Beautiful ancient architecture, absolutely. Let me see exactly how ancient we're talking. Let me see. Because I might forget it. Let me see. Segesta Tempio. That's the temple of Segesta. Let's see. Because usually Wikipedia gets the dating right. They sometimes don't get the history right, but they always get the dating right. Thank you, Inkpenification, for supporting the stream. I'm just remembering in New York, when you see a pizzeria, there's a good chance it's owned by an Albanian or Albanians. Yeah, I think sometimes that happens. I mean, if they still make good pizza, I'll eat it. But, yeah. Let me see if I can show you when Segesta was built. The first historical, let me see, notice or suggestions as early as 580 BC for Segesta. Very nice. So yeah, 2,500 years old. Let's see Selinunte. I'll share my screen so you can read along if you want. So this is Selinunte. Selinus was the name in Latin. Selinus. Yeah, Selinunte. And let's see when this one was built. Founded in 628 BC, so it's 2,600 years. That's crazy. Almost 3,000 years old. So I was right. Yeah. Fantastic. You can even see some of the buildings. And there is one more that I don't remember what it's called now, so I apologize for that. But there is one more that we visited. It's up the mountain near Palermo. And in that area, they still have conserved the altars where they were making sacrifices to the Olympian gods. And you can still see the altars intact. And some of the buildings, they may have lost the roof, but you can still see the walls, so you can enter these sacred buildings that the ancient Greeks were. Because Sicily has some of the best preserved temples in the world. Yeah. Let me double check that I haven't skipped any super chat because I don't want to be disrespectful. No, I think I checked all super chats correctly. Yeah, good. I didn't miss any, man. Look at me. I'm on point. I'm on point tonight. I'm sharp. Good stuff. And let me check Twitch. I'll have to fix the thing that only verified accounts. I'll have to check it. I'll have to fix it. 51 viewers, man. Twitch tonight is on fire. Love it. You should check out ancient Roman city Civitas Tropaensium ruins in Romania. Ooh, that sounds nice. Let me see. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, that looks great. I would love to visit. I mean, look at this entrance. I love it, man. The Romans were like top notch. Romans are unbeatable. Look at all these squares, fairly nicely preserved. Look at that. Adam Cleese. Adam Cleese, man, that's a beautiful picture right there. Be nice to visit Romania one day. Romanians are cool. I always get along. Romans knew how to make an entrance. You're correct, Murph. You're correct. No problem, Tammy George. Thank you for joining the stream. Have a good one. Does Sicily have ancient mosques? Yes. I'm not sure ancient, but yes, because of course there was the whole domination, the Arab domination as well. So there are mosques, so you do see them with this. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, there is that too. And depending on the area, of course, Siracusa is the one place that I would, if you like Greek stuff, you should go to Siracusa. It's another one. $2,950 for the Neapolitan pizza training course. I mean, Mark, it's expensive for single individuals, but if you're a business owner, I think you can afford that, and the quality of your I would do it. If I had a pizzeria, I would totally make sure that my pizzaiolo is trained. So I would invest the money. Hey, maybe one day I can open a Metatron pizzeria in America. Do the American dream. The Italian, the Italian immigrant opening a pizza chain, historically accurate pizza. We serve like, it would be nice. I would do it. I would serve like ancient Roman food and modern accurate Italian food. How about that? Man, if I had the money, I would do it. Okay, I need some kind of like rich guy that can invest on my ideas. That's what I need. A rich guy. Like a rich American entrepreneur, like the ones you see in the movies. And he's like, he wants to invest on my ideas. We use the channel. And then we make this historically accurate Italian food with Sicilian gelato. Because Sicilian has got the best gelato, I don't even care. But then Neapolitan pizza, so you get the perfect connection there. And then we have like a whole special menu, maybe for weekends, that is like ancient Roman. I would do it. I got the ideas. Man. By the way, gelato means frozen in Italian. That's all it means. Yeah, we just need we need the American money. We need the American dollars. Like a businessman. Where do I find one? Partnering. Yeah. Apocalypse says, I want to go to Sicily. You should. You should go visit. Absolutely. It'd be great to have you. I mean, I'm not in Sicily anymore, but you know what I mean. Is Orthodox Christianity big in Italy? I've never met anyone in Italy who is an Orthodox Christian. That doesn't mean that they don't exist. I'm just saying in my experience, I've never met one. In Italy, maybe now I said Sicily, but I meant Italy. In Italy, I've met, of course, a lot of Roman Catholics. That's a majority. But I've met evangelical Christians. I've met evangelists. Then I've met Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons. What have I met? All sorts, really. Baptists as well, I think. Were they Baptists? Methodists. Yep. When I can donate more than $2 super chat, I gotcha. Thank you, great. I appreciate the support. Hey, any support is appreciated. You guys don't owe me anything. I owe you for being able to do this. So anything you guys wanna share to support the streams, I am gonna stream a lot. But yeah, it's very much appreciated because I know it's your hard-worked money, so I really appreciate it. I'm in a very fortunate, privileged position to be able to do this and make the videos and then play the games and talk to you guys. It's fantastic. Best job ever. So I'm very grateful for it. Any support. You know how people were... Overlord says, non è vero, Friuli hanno il miglior gelato. But here's the thing, my dad is from Friuli, so I've visited Friuli 15 times. I love Friuli. And you guys have got some fantastic stuff, but I had gelato in Friuli. If you haven't had gelato in Palermo, you don't know. You don't know. You got good gelato, but Palermo is best. And I will die on that hill. But I'll tell you, Mandy. I will tell you Mandi. Mandi is like ciao, but in Furlan, their regional language. How much money for you to dye your hair blue? Oh no, I don't want to do that, man. It would have to be life-changing, because otherwise I don't want to dye my hair. Oh gosh. What does your PFP represent? What's a PFP? If you're talking about the channel logo, that's Metatron's cube. And then say Nicholas on Twitch, Metatron, what should I do now that my recordings are taking a ton of storage space? Buy a hard disk. I mean, you can buy external hard drives and they're relatively cheap these days. I would say invest on one. I have 3. I think, and that's what I do when I have to store stuff, particularly the live streams, because I always download the live streams, but man, they add up. So that's what I do. I put them on a separate hard drive. So yeah, invest on external hard drives. Man, you'll thank me later. Thank you, Snoopy. All hail to Pompey. Thank you for the support. $20 for Pompey, guys. We need to raise our hands. $10 per hand. Every time we do this. Glory to Pompey. Glory to Pompey. Pompey has been mentioned with a super chat, guys, so now it's glory to Pompey. It's how it is. Nice blue room. Yeah, I love blue. It's my favorite color. So yeah. I don't know much about the castrati in Italian history, Grace. Read a book by Alice. So you're talking about like eunuchs? Is that what that is? That's what it sounds like to me. Get two of the biggest external drives you can afford for 2 copies, so if one fails, yeah, you should always consider, yeah, the possibility. But as I say, I mean, if you have like one that is 1 terabyte, I mean, how much stuff can you store in that already? If you have the money, maybe solid state, so they are faster, but if you're a little bit on a budget, you can find stuff very cheap these days, luckily, and I'm glad. Cerulean blue, I apologize, Mind Light, you're right. Yeah, I know there are authentic Roman food restaurants in Italy. We'll have to see how authentic they are. I've never been to one, but yeah, I wouldn't be. Even in America, there are like medieval dining experiences, but how accurate are they? You know me, I would be as pedantic as it gets. Man, you know what I would do? I would partner with Max Miller. Like we need a whale, and then Max Miller and we should partner up, join the PR. We would have like a crazy PR campaign, and then we could make like an insane business out of it, and people would love it. People would love it. Am I right? That would be great. I would do it in a split second. If Max Miller contacted me now, he's like, "Hey, Metatron, I heard about your thing. I know this other guy who wants to invest in us. Let's do." I'm like, "Okay, let's do it, man. Let's do it." Make a historic restaurant with Max Miller. And then we split the profit. Split the profit 50-50. Let's go. Oh, gosh. That would be great. Again, how much money to dye my hair blue? Hey, if you really want me to have $100,000. I'm not gonna. $100,000, I would dye my hair any color, blonde, whatever you want, red, anything. Because at that point, I put the money away for my kids and my wife, and I'll enjoy whatever. In that case, I'll have the care, but it has to be massive. Otherwise, I'm not dyeing my hair, guys. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Dreamheart says, is using an open flat palm also a rude gesture in Italy like the Greek morza? Like, what do you mean? Are you talking about the fascist raising arm or what? Depends on what you mean. The world isn't ready for blonde Metatron. Oh, could you imagine? Like if I did it and my hair was blonde, and then the haters would take that out of context and be like, look, he's a Nordicist. He decided to reject his Mediterranean heritage because of white supremacy. Oh, they would be everywhere on the channels. And I would respond to all of them. By the way, I started a hunt. I don't know if you noticed, guys, but I've been reacting to quite a few channels, both on the positive spectrum and on the negative spectrum. So the supporters, the haters, the neutral. I've been reacting a lot, to responding to people that made either positive or negative videos about me, including videos that are older. And that is because my policy has changed. You see, back in the day, I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to pick up fights with people. And so I was only reacting to positive content. But kind of a month or 2 months ago, it clicked. I'm like, why? I'm just gonna respond to everyone. I'm just gonna make videos. And so I've been on a hunt. For both positive videos. I'm like, oh, I didn't notice this. This guy made this video. It's so nice. I'll make a response video so they get a shout out. And maybe, they don't need to agree with me. They just need to be nice, basically, to get a shout out and a promotion for me. But I'm also hunting all of those people that make those videos to slander me. And I'm going to take them all down one after another. I'm on a hunt and I've got a list, guys, so prepare for it. I'm not saying that I'm going to become a drama channel. I'm talking maybe 3 uploads a month out of 30, so that the other 27 are going to be normal, but I'm going to do it. So if anyone made a video to slander me, I'm coming for you. Always politely, though. I'm always going to be classy. I'm not going to call them stuff back unless they really go, like, nuts. But then again, even on my React video to Alec Gunter, he called me a fascist and a Nazi. It's not like I called him anything. I just laughed at his face. So that's what I do. But then I like, at, you know, kind of countering their arguments and sit down with intelligence and taking down every single point. I like doing that. I love it. And then I know that some people are like, but why do you do it? It's a waste of time. Is it, though? Because I'm an alchemist, my friend. I turn hate into gold. I monetize it. So at this point, why not? Why not? Am I right? Blonde Metatron, says Jonathan. That would be funny. Yes, it would be. Wear blue contacts while you're at it. Says Kristen. Goodness gracious. Oh, that would be great. Benjamin says, Metatron, do you respect the fact that belief in God is different from belief in religion? Yeah, I can understand that. Absolutely, because at the end of the day, you know, we can disagree on doctrinal aspects. We can disagree on technicalities or aspects that are even important, like when do you baptize? What age do you baptize? Do you have to confess to a man, or can you confess directly to God? Like, there are things that are important. They can be core fundamentals. And yeah, and you could say, no, I don't believe in this religion, or maybe you don't believe in that aspect of religion, but you can still believe in God. So yeah, they are absolutely two different aspects. Personally, I think there is something nice and comforting about the idea of meeting in his name. But then again, also there is the negative aspect of it, and horrible things have been done in the name of religion, which to me is a perversion at that point. So you can totally, I think, yeah, sure. They are definitely different things. St. Nicholas is blonde Metatron. Wow. Oh my gosh. Echo on Twitch, Echo No Physicist says, I don't see any particular political attitude. You're very balanced. I try to be. I try to be. I always like to consider myself a moderate. And by the way, moderate. Ooh, someone wrote blasphemy and you're gonna be blocked. I don't appreciate that. So I'm putting you in timeout. 5 minutes. And you're in timeout. That's not allowed in my comment section. So there's that. It's allowed in your home, and it's allowed, I guess, in your freedom of speech in the squares, but in the comment section, I know you're doing it on purpose, and so that gets you a timeout. If you do it again, it's a ban. Anyways, so I was saying, it's a bit like my house. Like, everyone is welcome to my house, but if you start swearing against God, not in my house. It's kind of, that's how I see it. But then if I come to your house, I won't tell you what to do in your house. It's that kind of situation, if you know what I mean. So yeah. So that's that. So are you saying I can get free press by making a video about Metatron? Yeah, sure. I mean, you can make a video, and depending on how you make the video. I mean, the guy that I reviewed today made 26 videos, and they were all slanderous in nature. But they did give me quite a kick. I'll give him that. It was really funny. It was really funny. So, yeah. So I made a couple of videos myself about it. Why not? Why not? So there's that. Hey man, hey War Maniac 209, good to have you here. Good to have you here. Great example of monetizing haters. You can do, because at the end of the day, when there is a lot of hate, and you will have it. If you begin a social media career, if you want to call it like that, experience, whatever you want, eventually you will get hate. It doesn't matter. You can be nice, you can be moderate, you can be, or not moderate, it doesn't matter. You can be yourself, however you want. You'll get hated. It is just how it is. Then the amount of hate you will get depends on the sort of content you produce. So if you do a lot of divisive content and a lot of stuff that is very controversial, you'll get more hate. But you will get hate even if you're the nicest person on the planet. So when you get this hate, what do you do with it? I don't like blocking comments, so I leave comments usually, so people can do whatever they want in the comments. However, you you can either let it get to you if you're like a thin skin, and then you start responding and getting angry, a bit like Professor Dave does. The ego's like super toxic, and some of the comments he gets are toxic too. But then I think he got to a point where he was so, even comments that I would be like, man, the guy's just disagreeing, chill. And he was just, yeah, you could do that. I don't like to do that because it would poison me. It would be like the majority of my day I'm like angry. You could be righteously, righteous indignation. You could still be in the right. You're right to be angry, right? But it's still not good to be angry. So what I do, I laugh. Whenever I see a comment, I laugh. Sometimes I actually type it. But yeah, when they say something like, you are a monster, you're a racist, you're woke, you're a fascist, whatever it is that day, whatever person I triggered, depending on what I said, I just laugh. I'm like, what on earth, man? And so that way, I don't get angry. But then, sometimes I'll make a video making fun of them, because then the video gets monetized and I make money off it. Might as well. That's another thing you can do. Hey, I appreciate that, Arjen, saying, how can anyone hate you? Thank you for that. I appreciate that. But yeah, they will. Yeah, I think when I was at the beginning of my... William says, I worried that I would get angered too fast. Initially, I would. Like, I would get pissed. Particularly when people were, like, accusing me of something that was not real. Right? But then I just learned to laugh it. And now I'm good. Like, it doesn't matter what they say. I'll still laugh. I'll laugh. I don't care. I'll just laugh about it. Yeah. Which Transformer is Metatron? I don't know. You choose. I guess Megatron. Optimus Prime doesn't sound like Metatron much, so I think I have to be the other guy. The grey one, I suppose. So it's nice. Metatron, have you been cancelled? Ooh, they tried. They all failed. But man, they tried. They absolutely tried. Yep. Oh no, you don't need to say, Nicola, you don't need to make a video on me. No, not at all. You do whatever you want. I'm saying if there is an argument, a topic, maybe you agree or disagree. If you agree and you want to expand, because maybe my video wasn't as deep as what you could produce, for instance, plenty of people that can do that even if they have smaller channel. The size of the channel is not necessarily a reflection of how prepared a person is. There are channels that have like a tenth of my subscribe base and they could teach me from this morning to this evening. But then, yeah, so if there is like a topic you feel you can expand on, that would be nice. And then if there is a topic that you disagree, you think, oh, Metatron got this one wrong. Hey, I appreciate it. At the end of the day, I'm a truth supremacist. So all I care about is to get the truth. And if that means that the truth is on my side and I was right, then great. But if it happens that the truth was not on my side and we interpreted as a team, or even myself, we interpreted something incorrectly, then someone can prove that, and then they are right, I'll share it. I'll absolutely share it. Who cares at that point? Yeah. Monetize your Eric July, says Ray Gonzalez. Thank you for the support. And thank you, great Pontarches, for the $5 donation. Really appreciate it. It's very nice of you. Good evening, Winter Suns. Good to see you again. See, the fact that now I try to stream on a regular basis, and I'm going to try and stick to the 5 p.m. streaming time. Ideally, 5 to 7. As you can see tonight, we streamed a little extra, but that was the idea. We could stream longer time, depending on the situation. You know that 5 p.m. Central, wherever you are, translate that. I'll be here from Monday to Thursdays, and then on Fridays I'll have same time, but it will be a members only stream, because I think it's nice to give them 4 streams dedicated to members to thank them for the support. And one thing we're gonna do now is because in theory I wanted to stream until 7, but it's fine. The extra 23 minutes, you guys are too fun, and so I lose time. Not time, I lose the perception of time. That's what I meant to say. What I'm going to do now, 30 minutes to the end of the stream, So I'm going to switch to members only. So in theory, the stream kind of ends here, but it doesn't. We continue for 30 minutes. You can stay regardless, but I'm going to switch the chat to members only. So people who are not members can still watch the stream, and we're going to review 2 documents. And it's going to be this one here. Archaeologists found a Roman gladiator skeleton. So we're going to read this together with members and talk a little bit. And then we're going to check out, if there is time, this one about ancient Scythians. So that's what we're going to do. And thank you, everyone. So that's what we do. We do this with members at the end. The last 30 minutes is always with members, because this way members get a chance to speak to me, and they ensure that we can have like a one-to-one conversation and read stuff. So that's what we're gonna do. And but if you're on Twitch, Twitch is still gonna stay here. It's just I'm gonna give priority to members whenever they chat. And if no one is chatting on members, I'll read Twitch a little bit. When it comes to when I'm gonna stream again on Metatron's Protector at my gaming channel, Night Percival, in the evening. I don't know if I'll do it. I don't know when, but it's always gonna be in the evening, either tonight or tomorrow night, probably. So we can play. Very cool. Very cool. One-on-one date with Metatron, I guess. Yeah. Something like that. So let me do that. Let me switch. Let us switch from this very stream. Where is it? It's here. It's customization. In the customization tab, guys. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And welcome to the inner circle. Welcome to the inner circle, guys. I'm going to give 30 minutes. And wow, Evil Black just sent 5 Metatron memberships. So whoever got the membership, welcome to the members section. It's really good to have you here. Let's have a good time. So I'm going to say first 10 minutes is just read the chat. And then the other 20 minutes, we're going to spend 10 minutes each on these articles. We can read them, share our opinions, think what we think, share what we think. I think that could be fun. Bye, Tomichiko. It was good to have you here. Hey, we got more people then. That's nice. That's fun. We can relax and see how this goes. Yesterday we had a good time. The last 30 minutes, it was fun. So that's always good. Did you ever play Morrowind, asks Goatee? Oh, I remember you from yesterday's Inner Circle. Yes, I got Morrowind for my 20th birthday, I think. It was a 19th birthday for the original Xbox, and I played quite a lot. I have to revisit it. I played it a little bit on Metatron's Protectorate, so I'll have to play more. Welcome, Adam. Thank you for becoming a member of the channel. Appreciate that. How are the memberships distributed? What do you mean, random? Oh, how they're distributed when someone... It's free. The system... It's not free. It's random. So whenever someone gifts like 5 memberships, like now, Evil was very nice to do that. Very generous of him. The system just randomly distributes it, I think, among the people watching. I think that's how it's done. I'm no longer a peasant. Let's go, since St. Nicholas. Good to have you here, brother. And by the way, for members, I will start producing 1 video a month that is going to be old school core vanilla Metatron, and you guys will choose it based on a poll. So I will poll it. I'll do it soon in the next few days. And then I'll select 4 topics, for instance, that I think we can produce with the team. We discuss it with the team. Then you guys choose it. And then based on a democratic, we could say, election, you guys choose it, and then we get the video. So that's going to happen as well with members. So, yeah, but Morrowind was a good game. You know why I like Morrowind a lot? Not my favorite, but the reason why I like it a lot nonetheless is because it feels outworldly. It's like when instead of trees you got giant mushrooms, you got me. At that point, you got me. Thank you, Econophysicist, for subscribing on Twitch. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And you gifted as well. You've been very generous. Thank you so much. I really hope that Twitch is going to be A lot of my focus will be on gaming in the evening on Twitch, possibly 11 p.m. is what I'm thinking, Central. So if you're on Twitch, do keep that in mind. I will start doing some evening gaming on Twitch. And then multi-stream it with the gaming channel. It's still a good game, Jonathan, I agree. Yeah. Thank you, Adam. You just gifted 5 members on YouTube. That's you guys are awesome. You guys are the best community. And then Saint Nicholas, yes, there are some parts of your D&D video I did not agree with. Feel free to tell me what they are, or maybe make a response video. Be great. Yeah, I remember that video. It was one of the controversial ones because, you know, that's me. If I think something, I'll say it. I'm not afraid of being cancelled. And I've been told, I can't tell you who, all right, because it was a private message and I have to respect that. But it's a YouTuber. I'm just going to leave it at that. And he recommended me a few years ago, when I was starting to make videos with a little bit on the controversial side, like my Cleopatra video, when I said Cleopatra was Greek. I don't know how that's controversial, but apparently it is. Or all that kind of videos, or the videos about D&D, when I speak a little bit about pop culture. And he was like, "Ooh, I don't think you should do it, man. I don't think you should do it." And I'm like, "Why?" And he's like, "Because people might think you are this, or people might think you are that." And I'm like, people can think whatever they want. I know what I am. I know my heart. I know my intentions. And so when I say Cleopatra is Greek, first, it's not the core of my content. Yeah, I make videos like that, but the majority of my videos are not the controversial ones. But whenever I do, when I'm saying that Cleopatra is Greek, I'm not trying to attack anyone. I'm not trying to push any racism, whatever the heck. No, if anything, it's them. They are the racial fixated ones. The people that do stuff like this and like Netflix creating that kind of show. They are the guys that I'm just telling you how it was. But if someone presents me evidence and tells me, no, 100% Cleopatra was black, I'm like, wow, guys, we need to make a video. That would be my reaction. Problem is that the evidence is not there. In fact, if anything, the evidence pushes to the other side. And that's the only reason, because as I told you, I'm truth-centric and I'm a truth supremacist. So I don't care. Where the truth points, I'll say it. That's just how it is. And I know that some people can find that condescending. They'll be like, "Oh, who do you think you are?" No. I'm willing. That's the part that I'm trying to say. The way I say it, because maybe I'm not the best communicator, might make it sound like I think I know it all. But it's the actions that matter. And any time that someone from other channels has made a video and they said Metatron was wrong about this, I either unlisted my video, cut out the part that was wrong, acknowledged that I was wrong, and shared that video on all of my social media platform. And I think that speaks louder than words. The fact that when they debunk me, if you will, although some people are very nice and they say it's a response, and when they prove me wrong with evidence, doesn't happen very often. Let me be a little arrogant there, but it's not because of me, it's because of my team. The team is great. So it's solid research because of them rather than me. I put my part, but it's them. But when it does happen, I've shared it everywhere. And I think that that's what matters at that point. All right, comments. Thank you for the membership. Thank you. Will you be returning to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 on the Protector channel? Yes, I will, Chase, 100%. Just right now, I'm fixated with Oblivion. I need to get that one out of my system. Apoc, wasn't she even Ptolemaic? Yeah, she is. She is. The entire family used to inbred. They had inbreeding. So it's like, yeah. But yeah, she's Greek. Ptolemaic, absolutely. Halfdan Johnson, we are seekers of the truth, 100%. That's why I always say everyone is welcome here. Doesn't matter what you believe, what you think. If you're like, yeah, Metatron, just don't pander. Just tell me straight. What does the evidence says? Then that's a channel for you. You're welcome. At that point, everything else is like, as long as you're a good person, you're a decent person, then everything else around you is just details. All the things you choose in your life, how you choose your positions, your opinions on any topic, whether it be religion, politics, philosophy, then culture, that's you. And that's fine. I don't care at that point. Jonathan, good to have you here. And then St. Nicholas, a lot of it was fine and or personal takes, but I can think of a few things that I think are not supported by the sources. Sounds good. Looking forward to see what you think. Just to be sure, Metatron, have you read the original Greyhawk booklet? No, I haven't. Samuel Spencer, one of the major problems in modern day society is that people don't do the work to fully understand the subject. You're absolutely right. You're right. And some people don't have the time to be fair, to play a little bit of devil's advocate, if you have to work like a 9 to 5 and then go back and take care of your family, you don't have the time really. So oftentimes you listen to the experts, but then we know that sometimes the experts are great and other times they're completely compromised, like Simon, gosh, what's his surname? Simon, I don't remember his surname, but you know what I'm talking about. Or like the lady professor that we reacted to the other day, that was like terrible. She was terrible. At that point, I don't care if you're an expert. It doesn't matter if you're an expert, but you say something that is logically and provable to be false. It's false. At that point, it's forfeit. So I'm not saying don't believe the experts. I say do, totally. But if you go into fallacy of authority, like, but the expert said it. Okay, what did she say? Oh, it's still nonsense. You know, it's one of those things. Yeah. You're having a good discussion here. A lot of talking points. Partly on topic, but my response to debates about Jesus' race has always been, if you care what color he was, you're not paying attention to what he said. And I think that's a good comeback. Sometimes, though, I still also think it's not wrong to ask. Curiosity should always be rewarded. I think curiosity is what ignites discoveries. And so it's fine, as long as you're asking for the right reason and you're asking for the wrong reason. And sometimes I think people make statements. So at that point, if someone made a statement about the ethnicity of any person or people, for instance, someone asks, what were the Carthaginians? There's nothing wrong with asking it. But if someone makes a statement, it's fine to ask, but were they really? Whatever ethnicity that they're claiming. And so it's the same thing with Jesus. People make claims. And so at that point, if the claim has been made and someone asks me, Metatron, is this true? Then I'll address it. But of course, it's the least important aspect of Jesus, is what he looked like. And that's why the Gospels don't give us any description whatsoever, exception being for after the resurrection. But then again, after the resurrection, some people use that. But after the resurrection is different. It's an immortal body now. Like, even whether you look at it from an atheistic perspective, and so to you it's mythology, or whether you looked at it from a Christian perspective and to you it's the truth, either way, resurrected Jesus with the fiery eyes and the white countenance and the molten bronze feet, it's not the same look that he would have had, and the white hair as well. His hair with the color of snow. That doesn't mean that that's what he looked like, because if that were the case, when the Romans arrested him, they wouldn't have needed Judas to kiss him. They would have said, "Who do we arrest? Oh, it's the guy with the fiery eyes that walks around with white hair, bright countenance, and feet of molten bronze." I mean, I don't think you would have needed Judas's kiss at that point. I think it would have looked like the other disciples. It would have looked like someone in period, and that's that. I believe that pineapple has a place on pizza, says APOC. That's fine, and nobody's perfect. You're free to be wrong. Thank you, Chops, for becoming a guardian and joining. I appreciate that. Samuel says, yeah, I read your thing. Thank you for the contribution. And if they are presented with evidence against their point, they double down on their mistaken point, says Random. A lot of people do that. You're absolutely right. What actually happened to Judas after he betrayed Jesus, says Murph? Well, the scriptures tell us he offed himself, but that's only in the gospel. We don't have outside. So Josephus doesn't tell us, for instance, and the Romans don't tell us. So there's that. Pineapple on pizza goes like ketchup on sushi. Absolutely, econophysicist, you're correct. People swallow everything like pelicans. You're right, Otis. I don't know why that makes me laugh. Or maybe they don't want to understand the subject, but rather to alter the facts, says Jonathan. I think people do. Those that have a message or are very tribalistic in nature, they will do that. Was it Simon Elliott? Yes, Daniel, thank you. That's the guy. I called him out 100%. I said I have zero respect for the guy, and I continue on that line of thought. Academia has been tainted by propaganda, sadly. You're right, Holfdan, and I'll tell you one more thing. Look at this post. So you know I'm a strong proponent of BC AD. While I leave, of course, people their freedom to choose BCE CE, to me BCE CE is completely useless because it still points to the same event, which is the birth of Christ. So to me, there is no point. You can use it if you prefer it, but I will never do it, and it will be BC AD. Well, on Twitter the other night, I made this post, and I showed this. Now, if you don't know what this is the coat of arms of the University of Oxford. And it says, Dominus illuminatio mea. Dominus illuminatio mea, or if you want to read it in ecclesiastical Dominus illuminatio mea, which means literally, the Lord is my light. Who are you fooling? Like in academic circle, they're like, no, we need to cancel the reference to Christianity, so we need to use BCE CE in the dissertation paper. And then this is what it says in the coat of arms and motto of the University of Oxford. Now, the reality is that I think while it's absolutely fine, and I respect the fact that you prefer BCE CE, it's pointless. Because if you want to remove reference to Christianity, well, do keep in mind that we still reference to the ancient gods, and I don't have a problem with it. When you say Thursday, it's the day of Thor. The day of Thor, Thursday. Vic, come in. We are during members.
I'm gonna go take a shower, but
okay.
I was gonna give you this.
Okay.
Just in case, because I don't
What
know
is that?
if you're hungry.
I got some cheese. Guys.
Hello, everybody.
The wife brought cheese.
I'll come back.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go shower, but
No problem.
I brought that because I'm gonna get in the shower, and I didn't know if you were hungry. So
I appreciate.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll see you guys in a minute.
So I'm looked after. I'm looked after, guy. A Dream Heart from Twitch says, "Hey, Meta wife."
Hi, everybody.
And so yeah, that's what it is. Have you played Crusader Kings 3? Yes, Halfdan, but a long time ago. Yeah. Belmont says evil. And well, it depends on the focus, in my opinion. If the idea is just to learn the truth, then would be in keeping with Jesus' teachings, and I agree with that. Of course, people will disagree. It's a heated topic. I always admit my bias when it comes to that. Goatee, someone on Facebook tried to convince me that Mesopotamians were black. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't understand, honestly, this. Why do you need it? There are so many people in Africa that no one knows anything about. Did you guys ever study at school? I don't know where you're from, depending on where you're from. Did you ever spend like 3 months, for instance, studying all of the different people and their civilization and their buildings in Africa? Focus on those. Focus on those instead of saying the Mesopotamians and then bring this like fragmentary evidence that is misread and misinterpreted to tell me that Hannibal was black. Don't tell me about Hannibal. Tell me about the real black leaders. That's how I see it. I don't know why it's become a thing, but it has, and people grift over it. And some people grift it, some people do believe it, so I'm not going to call them grifters because I'm precise with my... If you really believe it, you're not a grifter. But then again, they believe it, but I think they're obsessed over it, and so they don't accept anyone disagreeing, which disagreement is the basis of any academic proposition, if it's real academia. And then St. Nicholas says, but if someone thinks one skin color is better, then it's outside of Jesus' teaching. I agree. Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly written in the Bible, unfortunately. I wish it was. But I agree. I'm an anti-racist, but I'm a real anti-racist. These days, anti-racists that are only oftentimes... they are not really anti-racist, because they're anti-racist when it's against people of color, but they're fine when it's against white people, and I disagree with that. If you're really anti-racist, you should be anti-racist in all forms of discrimination, and you shouldn't try to use a technicality like, is it systemic, is it not systemic? And I'm not trying to go political. Okay, I understand. I do. I really do. But I'm just saying, like the actual fact that if you're black in America and you have a higher chance of having some problem with the police, I think that's real. I don't know. I can't say it 100% because I didn't read the studies. I'm not an expert. I don't know. But I can understand. I can understand the point of view. But still, it's horrible to be discriminatory against white people because of the color of their skin. It's still wrong. Okay, it doesn't matter how you... It's wrong to do that against anyone, and so I'm not good with that. That's what I think. Apocalypse says, let's go, my friend. I joined to ask you to please do a Crusader King 3 playthrough. I'll do it, Shops. I will do it, my friend. Absolutely. Your request will be honored. I'll just have to do it on the gaming channel, though. And I'm sure you understand that. Because the playthroughs are on the gaming channel, for obvious reasons. I'll tell the wife you said hello. Say, Nicholas, thank you. Keeper. Oh, yeah, she's a keeper. Bring her a cheese, says Daniel. Totally. Evil says, I agree with Neil deGrasse Tyson. Those monks did such a good job creating the modern calendar, yeah, the Gregorian, that we shouldn't take that away from that. I agree. I actually think that was a very based take by Neil deGrasse Tyson. Not all his takes are based. I've seen some of his takes on religion that I personally disagree, but I'm sure that some of you who are atheists, maybe you would agree. But the one thing about Neil deGrasse Tyson is that I wish he was... He's fantastic when he talks about astronomy. When he goes outside of the field of astronomy, that's when I start disagreeing with him. And this specific thing about BC AD, I thought it was great, and I was like, yeah, he was great. But I noticed that I'll be honest, I think he's atheist. He says he's agnostic. I personally don't think so. I think he's atheist, but agnostic gives him a better PR. I'll be honest with you, that's what I think. And so I would rather appreciate if he actually said it, because I've seen some of his public talks, and I'm like, yeah, that's atheist talk. And I'm not saying it in a derogatory way. I'm saying it as an evidence of fact. Like, they say the things you're saying, to me, sounds like an atheist. So I could be wrong. I would have to ask him directly. I would, but I think he would dodge the question. But that's just me. Jonathan says, your wife gets you cheese, mine gets me chocolate, and I'm trying to lose weight. Sometimes she gets me chocolate too. Today she got me a donut from Dunkin' Donuts, and it was a Boston cream, and it was great. I loved it, guys. You have to try it. If you're in America, next time you go to Dunkin' Donuts, here is Metatron suggestion. Here is Metatron suggestion. The Italian who lives in America now. Here is the suggestion. Get an English muffin, sausage, egg, and cheese, and then get a Boston cream donut with that. And to that, I say cheese. We learned about Mansa Musa, but that's about it. It's nice. We didn't. It's more than we did in Italy. So that's nice that they taught you that. We should use the calendar of hamsters from D&D instead. It's far more logical system of tracking. Oh, it's a far more logical system of tracking dates. But you know what? I wouldn't use it, but I would respect that more than BCEC. At least it would be more logical. What's the difference between an atheist and an agnostic? Okay, so the way I understand it is that atheists, there are two types of atheists. You've got non-combative atheists like Alex O'Connor, and then you have militant atheists like Richard Dawkins. Usually the militant atheists will make categorical statements, which I think at that point, well, whatever, it doesn't matter what I think. So they will literally come, and I see the militant atheists in my comments sometimes. They come and tell me, your God doesn't exist, stop it, it doesn't exist. So they make categorical statements. And I do believe, I usually try to be polite anyways, because I think while some of these people are objectively toxic and angry, I think some of those people may have been pushed towards that kind of input from the toxic Christians that also exist. Just because I'm a Christian, I'm not going to be intellectually dishonest. I've seen them sometimes, and they can be horrible. And they are not real Christians to me. They're fake Christians when they are hateful in a horrible way. Like, I've seen people laughing and saying because they had like a natural disaster in the Philippines, and I've seen people laughing saying, yeah, that's what you deserve for not being a Christian, die, burn in hell. And I'm like, okay, you're not a Christian. You're like, and Jesus told us about you, about the people that say call him Lord but don't do the will of his Father. So if you're an atheist, but maybe you were nice, you're atheist, but you're nice, that's just your opinion. But then you get exposed to a lot of those in your family. I understand. I think that's what pushes people that far against Christianity sometimes. I'm not justifying everyone. Some are actual assholes. They just hate Christianity for me for no reasons. And yeah, I don't like those, of course, for obvious reasons. But I can understand, since I don't know when I see them in the comments, which one is it, I try not to go too harsh on it, if you know what I mean. But usually atheists do categorically say they do not believe that there is a God. Whereas agnostics tend to lead, they just say they don't know. So I've seen atheists being agnostics on some aspects of religion. Like, for instance, Alex O'Connor is an atheist, but he will say he's agnostic when it comes to life after death. So you can be agnostic on some positions. Generally speaking, an agnostic is someone who says, I don't know, maybe there is a God, maybe there isn't a God. I don't feel I'm in a position where I can make my mind right now. Whereas usually an atheist has made his mind, and they truly believe that when they die, there will be nothing. And so, on that sense, atheists are a little more similar to a religious person than they are to an agnostic, because a religious person is the same opposite. But it's a similar situation. Religious people will always often tell you, no, I truly believe there is life after death. I absolutely believe there is a God. Jesus is my savior. And they say it with a similar confidence. That's the way I interpret it. Cheese. Jonathan Pollock says, I just reject all modern terminology. That's your freedom. I usually do too, but then again, if people want to use it, feel free. The only thing I do, like, the one thing I don't like modern terminology either. You know me. I'm a traditionalist when it comes to that. But if someone chooses a different name, I usually respect that. And that's because, again, it's not like my name is Metatron. My name is Raffaello. But I chose that as my YouTube moniker, and people oblige. And I appreciate that. So if someone chooses a different name and they ask me politely, I will use their name. I won't use the other name that they don't want to use anymore. Whether it be because someone legitimately changed their names because they didn't like it, or whether it be because of, maybe they are transgender, for instance. I will choose the name, but they have to be polite. If it's someone who is being toxic about it, and they tell me, no, you have to do it because I don't care, you're zero, then I don't. So it kind of depends on the situation. If I'm asked politely, I'll do it. But if they try to force it, then I'll fight back. That's personally my approach to it. Darius, thank you for the support, the donation. I had a semi-debate with the ChatGPT about gender roles. I'd like to send a copy of it to you. The responses were peculiar. That's very interesting. Feel free to do that. Yeah, send it through my email if you want. Or you can put the responses in a comment, like under a live stream, because live streams have less comments. So I'll definitely read it. Yeah. And Samuel says, I wish modern day scientists would realize that early scientists were often very religious. That's true. 100% cacao bars are nice, says Jonathan. 100%. Is that going to be a little bitter, though? And then Apron says, I think Neil thinks whatever gets him more money. Maybe, or maybe it's just that it's possible that because he's an educator, so he wants to reach the widest audience possible. And he knows that particularly in America, if he says that he's atheist, there will be some people on the religious side that might not listen to what he has to say. Not all religious are like that, of course, but some are. And maybe that's why he says he's agnostic. I do think it's PR. Just like, for instance, Jersey Mike's is objectively the better sub restaurant when compared to Subway, but Subway has better PR because they call their white bread, they just call it Italian, which to me is better PR. It's the same. It's white bread, but with better PR. Ad urbe condita. Yeah, that could be fun, Adam. Like televangelist. Yeah, televangelist, when there is a lot of money involved, I usually don't. Yeah. Some are terrible. Like I watched this couple that they scammed their audience with a cryptocurrency. I don't know if you saw that. It's like a pastor, I think, and his wife, and they scammed the audience, made a lot of money. The audience lost all the money, and then they said that God made them do it. To me, that's blasphemous. It's blasphemous to me. You I don't know if you saw this, but it was big on YouTube at one point. This scandal. You blame it on God, so then you can get rich and spend. They were like, yeah, God told us to spend $150,000 on the renovations on the house, so we made this Bitcoin, and then they made like I don't know, $1 million. They made a lot of money, and then it was a pump and dump, if you know how that works. So everyone buys it because they believe them, and they told them, yeah, God told us to do it, and then people believed it. And so they put all of their money, like people that put their savings. Oh my, I couldn't sleep at night. Could you imagine that? And then they did the dump. So the Bitcoin goes really high. Then they sell it, make a massive profit, and everyone loses everything. And then it's worth nothing anymore. And yeah, one person gets a lot of money. Terrible. It was terrible. Yeah. For example, I see phobia as being an internal fear. In the original Greek sense, that's what it means, yes. But I wouldn't say that someone who's homophobic is someone who is afraid of homosexuals. That's not how the word is used today. So sometimes I see people using that as a comeback and say, I'm not homophobic because I don't fear people who are gay. And I'm like, if you want to say you're not a homophobe, just say you're not a homophobe. And that's it. You don't need to go into the etymology because no one uses. If you say arachnophobia, that's fear of. Yeah, that's actually a good point, though. Why do we use it differently? That is so interesting. That is so interesting. I never thought of it. Thank you for bringing that up linguistically. I'm a linguist. I love this stuff. You know, I drop all the politics. I don't care. I want to read. I want to know the linguistic stuff at this point. That is interesting. Samuel says, how would they explain the Big Bang that is believed to have started the universe? When you say they, are you talking about religion? Because I would... Oh, yeah, you were talking about the... Well, I can give you my opinion on that if you want. Because even from a religious perspective, and thank you, Dreamheart, for becoming a member. I appreciate that. It's good to have you here. But I was saying, the way I see it, scientists say that even time didn't exist before the Big Bang, right? Now, here's the thing. That, in theory, is impossible to understand, because if something happened before, but time didn't exist, then there cannot be a before the Big Bang, and it's a big thing. But the way I see it, and I'm not going into the gods of the gaps because I'm afraid of the fallacy. I'm not going into the fallacy. I'm saying religiously, Christians believe that God is outside of time and space. He's not bound by time and space. He made it all, right? So imagine for a moment that our Earth and the universe is what he made, right? Whether he made it to test us, that's what often scripture tells us. But he made it, right? It's here, the universe. He created it. And for an analogy, imagine it that it's like a video game, right? Because in a video game, you have a beginning, you start, you play. When you die, you finish in the video game, but it's illusionary. It's an illusion because this is your real you, right? What you experience in the video game, it's fun. You have experiences, you learn. But then when you die in the game, you don't die in real life because real life is the real one, right? That's how I personally see life. It's a bit like a video game. And therefore, if you excuse the analogy for a moment, then the Big Bang makes sense. In that analogy, the Big Bang is the server when you turn on the tower. You turn on the tower, and within that video game reality, within Skyrim, yes, there was nothing, not even time, before you started the computer. There was nothing. When you clicked power, imagine that you are the developer, or we could also say the maker, right? Which would be the analogy of God, the programmer. He pushed the tower and then time itself begins. But he's outside it. He is outside. So the Big Bang is happening then, and then you have the video game, and you're playing the video game. And then the maker himself downloads into the game, and that would be a nice analogy, and he creates his own avatar and his own character to show us how it's played, and that would be an analogy of Jesus in my perspective. But because he has access to the code, when he dies, he's resurrected. He doesn't have to play by the rules because he made the game. But that would still make sense as to why, yes, so yeah, the beginning of the universe, the Big Bang is the beginning of everything, but not from his perspective because it's outside of it. And so are we. And that's how I like to... Maybe I should make a video about it, but that's how, to me, it makes sense. And that's how you can connect it and make it make sense, if you will. That's how I like it. I'm not saying that this is the truth. I'm not saying that I've got it all. But I'm telling you that that's how I like to looking at it. Because at least it makes some logical sense when you look at it this way. But it's true, Mrs. Fringe is bringing a good point here in chat. Religious people believe through faith, absolutely. Atheists disbelieve because the lack of logic involved with faith in the first place. Yeah, but as you can see, I like putting some logic into my faith. when I think about it. So to me, faith is not lack of logic. Faith is lack of evidence in the scientific sense. It's because I believe without being shown. Now, when it comes to personal proof, it's a different thing. And we would have to go into a deeper discussion about that, but maybe one of these days we will. It's going to be bitter, says Jonathan. Yeah. It's probably not 100% you're saying about the chocolate. Yeah. I like bitter chocolate occasionally, depending what you pair it with. 83%. Ooh, I see Apocalypse. That's good, probably. And then Evil says, as I understand it, in most early cultures, people would choose their adult name. Children were given names, but when you reached adulthood, you got to pick. Yeah, the Romans did that with the tria nomina. And that stopped because of the Roman tax laws. Sure, but the Romans did have like 3 names. And then if you read, and it's interesting actually how it functioned, because you could have someone called Gaius, Julius, Caesar, Octavianus, Augustus, for instance, or even, just to give an idea. And then Julius is his family name. It's the Gentes, the gens Julia. And then the third name, like Africanus, for Scipio Africanus, for instance, or even Augustus, that's a nickname. That's where that comes from. The third name that you get in the Roman tria nomina. Darius says, what's your email? I'll show you where to find it. I don't see it. Have you heard of deism? It got mentioned in the debate. Also, I apologize for my writing if you do read my responses. No, not a problem. I would still prefer if you can leave it as a comment under the live stream. That should be pretty easy to do. And you can also do it after the live stream because I'm going to leave it public. The only reason why is because usually you can find the email in the information tab on my channels. Maybe the only reason why I'm not going to show it in here is because it's mostly an email that I use for sponsors. So occasionally I will get an email or two that doesn't have to do with sponsors, like for instance even the plushie people are there, but it would be better if it's in a comment, and I promise that I will read it. Yeah, Adam says you went into a militant atheist stage in my younger years. Now I don't care that much. Cool. Yeah, I appreciate that. And you say because you don't know how it is in Europe, but in America, it's the way Christianity was presented to you. And I understand that. That's why when I see people, sometimes when I see like even the preacher that I reacted to, the pastor exorcist, Bob Larson, how he was, I'm like, come on, man, you shouldn't do that, because when you do that, then you push people away from Christianity. And as a Christian, that annoys me. I'm not saying you have to compromise your beliefs. If you're a Christian, you believe what you believe. If it offends, it offends. However, you don't have to be toxic about it. And that guy was so condescending and controlling that I'm like, you know what that does? You know what that does? It pushes people away from Christianity. So at the end of the day, it's not what we want. It's not what we want. So stay firm in your beliefs, but be a decent person and be intellectually honest if you're going to do a debate. And if you don't know something, just say you don't know. You don't have to go, no, what you're trying to do, why do you have the tattoo? What are you doing? Why did you wear that shirt? Is your name, like all the way he twisted it? It was like, goodness gracious, this guy screams fallacies. And of course, no one is perfect, but it annoys me because of the reach of the platform, because I'm afraid that younger people who see that, they will be like, oh, that's what Christians are? And I'm like, no, we're not all like that. We're not all like that. That's what I do at that point. Video Game Expedition 33, says Jonathan. Yeah, but is it good? That game, I see everyone talking about it. I watched a little bit of gameplay, didn't understand much. Higashi Martial Arts, thank you. Yo, Kyodai, hell yeah, I just hopped on about to cook. Perfect combo, that's fantastic. What are you cooking, mate? What are you cooking? How do I like my shrimp prepared? I don't eat shrimp. Anything that comes from the sea can stay in the sea as far as I'm concerned. Which is crazy because I always lived in islands, except for now. But I lived in England, I lived in Japan, and I lived in Sicily, and I don't eat. The only thing from the sea that I eat is tuna. That's it. Everything else can stay in the sea. So I'm sure the fish love me. They love me. Yeah, let's go into the articles. I'll still read the chat, but let's read a little bit the articles. Let's see what we've got. And then let's see what the chat thinks. So I want to start with the one about Rome, because I don't know if we have time for both. But let's have a look. So we've got this article, and I think it's interesting, from Popular Mechanics, but this is being copycat and copy-pasted everywhere. Archaeologists found a Roman gladiator's skeleton with bite marks that hint he fought a lion. So basically this would be a confirmation of the bestialis, like when they fight in the arena with beasts, which honestly I believe already, but it would be cool to have it actually confirmed. Thank you, Jasper Owens. Scusami per il ritardo, non ti preoccupare, così. He's writing in Sicilian. Ma aspettava un treno, ma un treno non aspettava mia. That's perfect, Sicilian. You gotta be native. You have to be native. That's perfect. Sorry that the train was late. It's a funny way to put it. So, ancient Roman gladiators were often pitted against animals. I wouldn't say often, by the way. Not often. But it did happen sometimes. In the arena, animals capable of killing a human being. Yeah. Skeleton remains in a Roman burial ground in northern England were found to have lesions that looked suspiciously like bite marks. And it makes sense that sometimes they would put criminals against animals as well. But the animal one would be like in between. So you have a bunch of fights in the arena during gladiatorial games, and then occasionally if you have like a lunch break, you might do this, or you might do gladiatrix, the women with the naked breasts, for instance, so that it would be a little bit of an entertainment aspect of it. Thank you, Jasper, for sending a Metatron membership. That's very kind of you for Showtime. Hey, look at that. Sicily is an island. No, absolutely. Biggest island in the Mediterranean Sea. So it is. I thought you said you were from Sicily. I am. Yeah, I'm from Sicily. Yeah, that's where I'm from. Anyways, let's see. Modern forensic techniques found that the teeth behind the marks probably belonged to a large feline, and the part of the skeleton that had been in the creature's mouth further indicated must have been a lion. Which makes sense. Lions are confirmed both by iconography, by mentions. As I say, Marshall is one of those, and Pliny tell us about what kind of animals they put. I'll tell you more about it. Maybe I'll kind of make a dedicated video. Ranging from as far as Egypt in the east to England in the west, or north I would say west, the power and influence of the Roman Empire remain legendary. Say it, brother. Glory to Rome and glory to Pompey, guys. I like this article already. This article is good. Appreciate that. But certain voluptas, or pleasures, that the populace indulged in cast shadows on its glory. Well, this is not written well. Your English is breaking up a little bit. Also, when it comes to people liking violence, we do too. So let's not project like MMA can get brutal, and I love it. I love it. I like watching Kyokushin Karate, and these guys hit each other right. You know what I mean? So yeah, are we really that different? Now, given, I mean, gladiatorial combat often wasn't lethal. Sometimes it was. If you pit them against lions, I get it. All right? We do have the corrida. The corrida is not the same in Spain, but people have died. It has happened. Oftentimes they drug the animals. I don't know if they did it with Rome. It's possible. Ah, siciliano, sì. Ok, a poi, sushi. Yeah. Italy ends at Naples. You're wrong. See, no, you're wrong. Is that what you were trying to say? Absolutely not. Sicily has been part of Italy since the late Roman Republic, and I can prove it with the sources. The late Roman Republicans and then imperials, they used the Latin word Italia, which is the same word for Italy in Italian today, and it involved all the way up to the islands, Sardinia and Sicily. Sicilians are absolutely Italians. 100%. If you have heard the Sicilians are not Italians, you have heard discriminatory northern anti-southern propaganda. That's what you heard. Because sometimes a lot of northern people are lovely, but there are some northern people that hate southerners. And when they want to insult Sicilians, they will say you're not Italian. But that's a discriminatory language. And it would be the same as someone telling you, like if you're from Tennessee or you're from New York, and then people tell you you're not a real American, you're not American. Yeah, they're all American. If you're from Tennessee, you're American. Alabama, you're American. New York, you're American. You're different cultures, you're different ideas, oftentimes different accents. You're all Americans. Very good. So Jasper says I was born in Tennessee. Exactly. Now, could you imagine if someone from California told you you're not American? You'll be like, oh no, I am American. Same for me. The simple fact that there is some water between Sicily and southern Italy doesn't make any difference. We've been part of Italy since the Roman Republic. So that's how it is. Aren't Sicilian close to Greeks? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And Phoenicians. We have a lot of. Yeah, sure. I would say so. But yeah, very Mediterranean, of course. I mean, we are different from someone from Milan, 100%. The way we talk, the way we eat. But so was it's the same in ancient Rome. I mean, people don't always eat a Mediterranean staple diet. They certainly didn't in the north of Italy. They ate a Celtic diet, and we have once again proof in the sources. So it's how it is. Do the South and North hold different political views? In Italy, not necessarily. That shifts. There is one region in particular that had a secessionist, I don't know how you pronounce that, party, La Lega, and they tried to detach themselves from the rest of Italy, but they never got enough votes to do it. But apart from that, I would say I think Sicily usually has more of a moderate right majority when it comes to the population, but you also have plenty of people there, Sicilian lefties. So it depends on the election, I guess. It depends on the election. My favorite Greek dish. The other day I ate a Greek cheese spiral. It was pretty good, but I mean, I never had food in Greece, so I don't know. Would Sicilians be more Italian, says Apo, considering most northerners are from mountain peoples? I wouldn't say so. No, I would say every Italian is Italian. We are different, but we are all equally Italian. That's how I see it, personally. So no, I wouldn't say we are more Italian than someone from Milan. They're pretty Italian. You know, they're into the fashion and all that kind of stuff. It's good. I love Milan. We go to Milan a lot. My love wife's Milan. My wife loves Milan, and I do too. Gladiators, for instance, fought each other, and often animals, to the death in arena. Oh, okay. I don't like the article anymore. It's nonsense. Where bloodier was better. Ancient Roman. Okay, this is wrong. The numbers of deaths were very low statistically. Sometimes gladiators died, but the idea that they often died is false. This has been debunked. It's also because, could you imagine the capital investment, like the money you need to put into the gladiators first to buy them? If they weren't prisoners of war, you needed to buy them. And then you train them, you put all of that money to the training, and then they die often. It's not viable economically. And then people wouldn't have their champions and their favorites. It's not how it works. Ancient Roman often delighted in watching carnivores tear apart criminals and other perceived deviants, or staging beast hunts known as venationes. Yeah, I agree with the venationes. Hunt scenes recreated in the arena put gladiators up against bears, bulls, stags, wild boars, and some more exotic species such as lion, leopards, tigers, and even elephants. Yeah, it's true with the elephants. And I mean, yeah, we have a variety, even more of these, but it's kind of funny because sometimes the Romans had no idea like what a tiger looked like, and if you look at the way they represented it in iconography, it's hilarious. They had no freaking idea. It was funny. So yeah. Apocalypse. I'm not sure about the myth of the founding of Padova. I would have to look at it. Apocalypseos. Sorry, Apocalypse Chaos. Man, what a name you got, though. Darius, thank you for the donation. I can't post it, sorry, to the membership button. Won't register my debit card for some reason. Oh, don't worry about it. Thank you. Thank you anyways for wanting to become a member. He told me to call my bank. Oh, did they? I'm so sorry about that. maybe after you call the bank, they'll allow you to do that. Sorry to hear that. But it's good to have you here likewise. And thank you for the support, for the donation. So yeah, I don't know why there's this myth. I mean, I know why there is the myth, and the myth is because every time you see gladiatorial combat in the movies, they always die, and I get it. It gets a show, right? And then you have this, you know, the famous sentence, "Morituri te salutant," those who are about to die salute you, Aue Caesar, right? No gladiator has ever said that we know of. Criminals said it. Criminals in the arena who were going to be executed, but during a combat situation, but they weren't professional gladiators. They said it to the Caesar because they said we're about to die because they were going to be put to death, and that was the way that they did it. But they weren't gladiators. So the only time that that's referenced, I think it was they said it to Emperor Claudius, if I'm not wrong, and he even got pissed because of it. They weren't gladiators. But unfortunately, it gets twisted, doesn't it? Thank you, Jasper, for buying a membership. I really appreciate that. You're very generous. Benur lied to me. They did, my friend. Tulka on Twitch. Sorry to hear that. Was Corsica also considered Italia by the Romans, or did it just include Sardinia and Sicily? Yeah, I think it was. Now I remember Sardinia and Sicily, looking it up. I think Corsica was too, but I'll have to double check on that, so don't quote me on it. It expands. Initially, to the Romans, Italia was just the center. And it's funny because the Italiani were only a specific population, an Italic population in Calabria. Like, it gets complicated with nomenclature, but then it does become like 100% that Italy is everyone, basically, in the entirety of the peninsula, so continental section and the insular section too, since the late Republic. Yeah. Higashi Martial Arts, is this a member-only chat? And okay, see, remember, yeah, it's the last 30 minutes of every live stream is members only, but the rest of the live stream is for everyone, and that's how I do it. So let's read a tiny little bit more, and then I'll go make some pasta, my friends. Let's see, ancient Romans. Okay, so we read this, hunt scenes, and we did that. Okay, these spectacles were documented in mosaics, pottery, that's true, metalwork, and other artifacts, some of which, and also mentioned in literary sources, show menageries of dangerous and exotic creatures snarling at human combatants. Hardly any skeletal evidence of gladiatorial combat has survived, but in what once the city of Eboraceum, now York, archaeologists have unearthed bone fragments that most likely belonged to one of these gladiators, and they showed marks that looked suspicious to archaeologist Tim Thompson. This is fascinating. The rest of the article was kind of take it or leave it, but this was actually fascinating. It appeared that this gladiator had, at one point, ended up in the jaws of a lion. Wow. The analysis of the lesion of skeleton 6DT19 provided convincing evidence that these were produced from the teeth of a large cat, such as a lion. Thompson and his team said in a study recently published in the Journal of PLOS One, we'll have to review it, whether the trauma inflicted happened as part of the show or an execution. This evidence from York, also carries several further potential insights. That would be like impossible to determine, unfortunately. Unless you get like literary evidence and you can do then a cross-referencing, like you can date it, and then they also tell you that in that town specifically this person was executed, then you know, or maybe it was like a gladiatorial lunch break fight, and then the lion actually got the gladiator. But then again, it would mostly be with criminals, and that's you could put sagittari sometimes, the ones with bows and arrows, so that you can represent a hunt, because that's what gladiatorial combat is. It's a representation of real battles, naval battles, when they fill it, the naumachia, or like combat between a Roman and a population that, for example, the Romans were actually fighting and then they conquered. They do that. So it's always, there is a lot of analogy in gladiatorial combat, which is one of the things that makes it extremely interesting, at least to me. Thanks for trying. Jasper had to turn it on to accept. Thank you, Darius. That's cool. So they gave you, I'm glad, and thank you for the support. That's very cool. And then, they talk about a fortress. That's interesting. So York used to be a legionary fortress. That's true. Like a castrum. It's something interesting about castrum and castra. So castrum, singular, castra, plural, or castra singular, castrorum plural, which is the later Latin usage. They're both correct. If you use castrum as singular, you're speaking older Latin. And then if you say castra as singular, you're speaking more like imperial Latin. That's how it is, or even late Republican Latin. So there is that. Does South and West hold different political views? Not in Italy, no, not really. Okay, East and West either. Not really. We're not big enough for that. That you need the size of America, I suppose. What were Japanese doing in the times of gladiators? I think we are like, depending on which era, it's like the Iron Age, and then the early beginning of the... it's going to be Iron Age. That's what they were doing. And even earlier, they were making armor of wood. That's what they were doing, which is fascinating if you think about it. Samurai armor was never wooden, but Japanese armor was. So if it's kind of a little bit of a difference, a small subtle difference. But no samurai armor was ever made of wood. But wooden armor did exist for Japanese warriors, but it's for like Bronze Age or even earlier, like prehistoric. That's what they were making. Man, it must have been heavy. Plus, imagine after every fight you have to either repair it or reassemble it, because that's the problem with wood, I suppose. What kind of pasta? Maybe spaghetti tonight. I'm thinking of making some spaghetti. Anyways, we did the full 30 minutes. Let me revert to regular chat so everyone can contribute. Welcome back, everyone. There we go. That's nice. Showed a little bit how that's done as well, because there's nothing secret in it. That's a good thing that YouTube does. They hide your keys so that people don't see it even if you show the screen. That's what they do, so it's not a big problem. Wood armor is heavy, I know. Well, yeah, for sure. That's why when they made it in the video game For Honor and the samurai faction had wooden armor, I mean, I didn't like it as a choice, but in that universe it made sense because they didn't have enough access to iron, because iron was mostly in the territories of the medieval faction. That is my favorite. And so they only used the iron they had to make the weapons, which makes sense, and then the armor they used wood. But I thought it was cool because, again, Japanese armor that is wooden did absolutely exist. For the members and the people that just became members, do remember that Friday we have a full stream just for members. So that day, feel free to remember, 5 p.m. But for everyone else, yeah, welcome back. And then tomorrow at 5, I'm going to be live again, and it's for everyone. So that's what we're going to do. Wood is better than nothing, says Legato. And Legato is a very good point, which explains it's the best way, in fact, to answer, but why did they even bother to do it? Because it's better than nothing. And he's absolutely right. I would rather have a piece of wood in between me and the business end of an axe, like a bronze axe, than my chest stopping the said axe with my ribs. You know what I mean? Jasper wants to know the next Oblivion stream. Probably... I'm gonna say, one of these nights, maybe either tonight at 11 p.m. or tomorrow night, but I don't know yet. So maybe keep an eye on my Twitch and gaming channel tonight around 11:30 and see if I'm live. If I'm not, it means that I'm working on scripts, and in that case, I will probably do it tomorrow. Yeah. As a linguist, do you study the dialect differences between different areas of Italy? I did take one exam at university on dialectologia, and we did look into, among other things that entails, we also looked at that and a few differences between different regional varieties. So yeah, I did look into it. Some regional languages are more difficult to understand than others, but yeah, that's how it is. I'm so looking forward to play Oblivion, Jasper. That's why I really want to do it tonight, because I want to play. I really do. We'll have to see. Jomon period, yeah. Jomon period, for sure. Depending on when it overlaps, yeah. Back in the day, I even made a video, Ancient Romans versus Jomon, and then in general, Iron Age Japan. I have a video. Now, it's a video from a few years ago, so it takes me forever to get to the point. Okay, so there is that. You have to learn, learn by doing, I guess. But people still liked it, so I guess they still managed to deal with me and still get the information, because the information was pretty good. Yeah, Otis, the fact that Oblivion is now playable in VR, I've got to download that. Do I need to buy it on the Oblivion? No, well, no, actually, I can connect my Quest 2 to the computer, right? I can do that. So that's what I'm going to do. It's going to be great. Is there any tutorial on YouTube? I'm sure there is. 100% there is someone who made a tutorial about it. 100%. Stream some Age of Empires. I will, Josep. Thank you for the suggestion. It's a very good idea. I love how YouTube chat, credit where credit is due. Members are green. Like, I can see you immediately when it's you. When it's members. And that's nice. That I can immediately see it. So yeah. I think it's about time to go make some pasta, my friends. So yeah. Do you play for Warhammer Fantasy? I do. Iconophysicist. In fact, on Twitch. In fact, I'm thinking of building my own Warhammer Fantasy table, and I'll document it on the gaming channel. It's gonna be great. A spear inclusion mod? Ooh, that'd be great, Jonathan. They made those for Skyrim, did they? I don't know if they did. I'm sure they did. Pasta with probably either pesto or some just pasta salsa di pomodoro, so like tomato sauce, something like that. I was in an Italian Tekken 8 rage stream yesterday. Goodness gracious, ZX. Yeah, pasta time, guys. I'm gonna go make some pasta. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining the stream. Massive thanks for all the super chats, and of course for the members. It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. We're gonna have a good time on Friday. Make sure you don't forget 5 p.m. And for everyone else, I'll see you tomorrow for the next stream at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you so much, guys. Ciao, ciao. Have a good night. Bye, Kristen. Bye, Apocalypse and everyone. And St. Nicholas and Cortova on Twitch. Thank you so much for your generosity. See you soon. Ciao, ciao, ciao. Ciao.